Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy, and I'm joined by two analysts who've had great success here. Larry McReynolds was the winning crew chief when Ricky Rudd won NASCAR's first trip to Sonoma Valley way back. And Tony Stewart, three-time Cup champion, eight-time road course winner. His final victory was one for the ages here as he dueled Denny Hamlin all the way to the final corner to win the final race of his career. Hamlin, by the way, trying to tie that all-time win mark of Tony's today. I'm sure we'll hear more about that as the day goes on. But what is it about road racing in NASCAR, Tony, since you came into the sport and since you won that race in 2016, about the number of competitive teams and drivers when we turn right and left?
Yeah, I don't know that necessarily all the drivers and teams embraced road course racing when I started in Cup in '99, but by the time I retired at the end of 2016, everybody was putting emphasis on it. The drivers, the teams, they knew how important it was, considering if you won, you got yourself a spot in the playoffs. So everybody puts emphasis on these road course races now, and now we have more of them than ever. 6
of them now, 2 then, now 6, last year 7. And Larry Mack, for 22 of the 32 races here at Sonoma, we have run the 2-mile short course using the chute from turn 4A to 7. We've been at the carousel the last couple of years. Now we're back to the chute. How's that affect your race strategy?
Well, the configuration is different. The distance is different. The challengers are the same. And they were the same 33 years ago in 1989, trying to give that driver grip, a good handling race car, turning left and turning right, and you want to make sure you don't repair one item and hurt another. But something I didn't have to deal with in 1989 was stage racing. That is a game changer when it comes to road courses. The whole thing today will be, how do you work these stages? Do I score stage points? Am I after this race win? But be in position in that final stage.
Well, something else that neither of you had to deal with was the new Gen 7 car and its 5-speed sequential shift transmission. Now here is this year. Here's what we expect to see for shifting and shift points in the middle of a race run. And we compare that to just a few years ago when we had the Gen 6 car and its 4-speed transmission. And there's a whole lot less of those shift points.
And this is one of those tracks that it doesn't have a lot of long straightaways, so you don't have a lot of time for the drivers to take a breath, relax. They were busy before. Now with 5 speeds, they're even busier.
Well, with an independent rear, hopefully, they're not wheel hopping like you used to have to worry about back then with the 4-speed. So the race we were just talking of, and I'd say it was one for the ages. You always cheer up here in the booth for the second-place car. You want them to catch the first-place car, and then things like this happen. So let's see, Tony, who should we have you talk to on the radio on the pace lap?
I think I should dial up my last lap buddy here at Sonoma, Mr. Denny Hamlin. Hey, Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart in the Fox booth. You got me, bud?
10-4, old friend.
Well, what's the strategy today? And I mean, I don't know about you. Some people say turn 11 is the trickiest corner on this track. What's your thoughts?
Well, it sure was versus you at one point. But no, I mean, it really is once you're bottled up in the restart. But I mean, all the corners, pose a challenge. Turn 7 to me was the most challenging during practice. The car really skated around pretty bad there. So conditions are a little better today, so I don't think it'll be quite as bad. But still, this is going to be a tire conservation race.
We've heard a lot of drivers talking about a lot of rear brake lockup because with this next gen car, we've got such better brakes on the rear. Are you fighting any of the rear balance brake issues?
We are. We certainly are. Certainly the car is capable of braking harder than what we're able to give it. The tire, won't handle all the brakes that it's got. So it's a lot different than the old car that you just you pounded the pedal as hard as you could, and then you hope not to wheel hop. This one, you definitely have to be cognizant of not locking up the rears.
All right, buddy. We appreciate your time. Have a good race today. Stay away from that one car.
Will do.
And the rivalries just keep on going. Here is your Toyota Save Mart starting grid for today's race. Kyle Larson dominated this race a year. He's on pole again. His teammate Chase Elliott was just a couple tenths off and very close, a 7-time road course winner. Chris Buescher missed last week due to COVID, but he is back and he qualified third. Michael McDowell, pair of Fords on row 2. His great season continues. Tyler Reddick, top 10 in 4 of his last 5 road course starts. In a Chevy, Cole Custer in a Ford started top 10 in both road course races this year. Ross Chastain, the winner at COTA in Austin, Texas, and his Trackhouse teammate Daniel Suarez was very strong at COTA before a spin. Joey Logano has won 2 of the last 4 races this season, and there's Denny Hamlin, who nearly won this race in 2016, but Tony did. Across the bottom of your screen, we'll scroll the rest of the starting lineup. 36 cars strong as we go to pit road for late breaking stories, beginning with Vince Welch.
Well, Mike, we're going to talk a lot about it today, and Joey Logano, in fact, told me it was going to be the key to the race today, and that is tire wear. Only 4 sets of tires laying here for the 22, the team that won last week. Can they go back-to-back for the second time in his career? Logano said he should know within the first 20 laps. How are the tires adjusting to his setup? That will determine whether or not it's going to be a points day or a day in which they may sip that wine in victory lane at the end. Jamie Little?
Well, Vince, one guy who has been in the headlines all week long is Ross Chastain in the 1 after getting into Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. Well, I asked him, what's the fallout? What has happened since? He said, I talked to both of them, and I know where I stand. So something could happen, a payback down the road. But as far as today, he feels like he is a top 5 car. Remember last time we were on a road course? He went to victory lane. And that watermelon man, he smashed a watermelon. Feels like he could get it done here at Sonoma. Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. Speaking of victory lane, win and you're in has continued throughout the run of stage racing and playoff racing in NASCAR. Now, if we have more than 16 winners, well, somebody's going to be out that's won. But here's how they stand so far in the playoffs. 4 drivers with 2 wins each. And here are the drivers trying to get in on points, and you see that cut line and how close it is. And look at the talent below the cut line. And once you get down past about 18th position, you almost have to win a race to get in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, and that's the pressure of this series. But it's also changed the game. Stage racing and the playoffs have changed how we race. We used to think from race 1 to the end of the season, you did everything you could to accumulate points. Now with stage racing and with win and you're in, now you take chances. You get crew chiefs that think outside the box. Their strategies are outside the box. The drivers race a little bit outside the box and be a little more aggressive when they need to. So this has changed the game, and with 11 guys already locked in and 5 spots available, it is going to get tougher and tougher each week from here on out.
And folks, we'll just keep saying win and you're in until somebody wins and they're out. It hasn't happened yet. Look at this race course. Look at this filled parking lots and hillsides, and look at the elevation change here at Sonoma. The difference between turn 11 and turn 3A, that is 160 feet of elevation change here. Not like COTA, where you just go 130 feet straight up the front straightaway in Austin, Texas. You're up, you're down, you're pretty much all around.
And that's what makes this track so much fun. The elevation changes how you drive it. There's a bunch of blind off-camber corners that you have to navigate. You've got a big, long, sweeping uphill section into turn 2 at the start. Just a lot of things that make you have to be in a rhythm at this racetrack.
Larry, let's take a look at today's race analysis.
Yeah, again, we're going to go 110 laps here. That's 219 miles. Look at the stages closely. Stage 1, 25, then 30, and then 55 laps in that final stage. Pit road speed, easy to get busted here, 40 miles per hour. And the fuel window, 42 to 44 laps. It's all about the strategy in that final stage.
Several cars going to the rear. Christopher Bell changed a steering rack. A.J. Allmendinger had to work on the exhaust. Eric Jones, they did some steering rack work, and Cody Ware failed inspection several times and will have to do a drive-through after the green flag. Yesterday, the temperature was in the 90s. Friday, it was near 100 degrees. And look at today. A high overcast, no real threat of rain, but it's brought the ambient down to the low 70s and the track temp to 91. Perfect wine weather.
Yesterday, the drivers were saying, where am I going to find some grip? The weatherman gave it to us today.
Yeah, that's a free change that you get, but unfortunately, everybody gets the same change.
The Goldfish Casino slots camera on board A.J. Allmendinger's number 16 for Kaulig Racing. The Joe Gibbs Toyota of Martin Truex Jr. will carry our Toyota onboard cameras. Rookie Austin Cindric, with a lot of road race experience, has the Ford onboard camera in his Penske Mustang. Ally with Alex Bowman and the Ally camera on board the number 48 starting 19th. The Monster Energy cameras ride with Kurt Busch. Rolling off from row 6. And Daniel Suarez starting 8th with the Coca-Cola on board for Team Trackhouse. His teammate Ross Chastain has the Tootsie's camera starting 7th. Chris Buescher starting 3rd. Here's his team.
All right, guys, got a nice fast car here today. Support they give us. Got a good starting spot. Let's keep it up front all day and come home with a win. Yep. Be smart about it. We'll work hard all day. We'll go get us one.
Kip Childress driving the pace car, put the turn signal on to take that 300+ horsepower Toyota Camry TRD to pit road. And they will come out of that hairpin turn 11 around the left-hand kink of turn 12 and address themselves to the start line. 25 laps for stage 1 of 3 stages. And here they come. We're underway in Sonoma.
Still right.
Tony, we wasn't sure about where Kyle Larson chose because that put him on the outside in turn 2, but I think there may have been a little bit of a plan there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting to turn 2 can be a tricky spot, and like you mentioned, you're on the inside in turn 1, but that puts you on the outside for turn 2. So having 2 teammates on the front row, that allowed them to work together and get in line.
Turn 7 and now into the S's. Leader heading for turn 10, fastest corner on the course. And now the straightaway, headed for Dive Bomb City, turn 11.
Yeah, they go from the fastest corner, turn 10, to the slowest corner, the opposite of a Martinsville, 3 and 4 right there, going the opposite direction, slowest part of the racetrack.
Tyler Reddick tried the outside on Daniel Suarez, nothing there on lap 1.
You can hear that ticking sound. That's actually the chassis that's hitting the ground. Talked to some drivers yesterday. If it hits too hard, it unloads the car and makes it unstable. So they'll have to watch that early in the run when the tire pressures are low.
Yeah, these cars have about 5 rub blocks. They're a ½ inch thick that's underneath the chassis, and that's what will start bottoming out.
This is turn 4A. Turn 4 is not used. That would lead to the carousel. 4A leads across to turn 7 and back to the S's. Reddick 6th place with Cole Custer.
Tony, I think Cole Custer in that 41 car, he kind of surprised himself in qualifying yesterday.
He did. He actually told us when he got out of the car that he thought he had ran a lap that probably would have put him about 30th and ended up 6th. So it shows how good a lap it actually was from the standpoint that when it feels slow, a lot of times it's fast.
Uh-oh, here we go. 3 wide coming down toward 11. I think it's sorted out. Some of them do, let's say. One truck yesterday took one of those piles of tires and sent it all the way across the corner, trying to cut the corner tight.
I'd say knowing the group that we have out here today, I'd say there's a very good possibility we could see tires flying across the racetrack again.
know, Chase Elliott, his numbers on road courses, they are absolutely off the chart. But this is one place he did finish second to Kyle Larson a year ago, but it's one place he's still trying to kind of find himself.
And it surprises me. He's such a good road course racer. I mean, I think hands down, even though Martin Truex and Kyle Larson have had success here recently, Chase is one of those drivers that just has a good feel and a good read on the road courses. When the conditions change, he's able to adapt to them. He's just so solid. But he waits. He's not one of those guys that has to get the lead on lap 2 or lap 3. He's a guy that waits till it really counts and time for the money to be on the line.
Vince Welch.
Well, with those 7 road course wins, as you guys were talking about, Chase Elliott undeniably has those strong road racing skills, but he points back to a test at Watkins Glen in 2017 that turned it all around for this team. They learned something that day that lent itself to a style that perfectly matched his skill set, a setup that perfectly matched his skill set. He said without that test and what they learned that day, he wouldn't have those 7 road course wins.
Wow. Now here's A.J. Allmendinger, had to start in the rear due to unapproved adjustments. And he's picked up 3 spots so far. Working on Ty Dillon. Here's the second toughest corner on the course because look, you can't see the exit. When you hit that apex and you put the throttle down, you don't really end up, do you, knowing if you're going to end up on the pavement at the exit of the corner or on the dirt?
No, it gets a little easier as the race goes on and you get it in rhythm, but early in the race and early in practice sessions, it is blind and it is very, very hard. You hope you get it pointed the right direction, but you're already on the gas before you actually see where you're going to end up.
Christopher Bell up 5 spots, the biggest mover in the race, forward that is, replaced a steering rack after qualifying and had to start in the rear.
And you know, as far as the Joe Gibbs Toyota drivers, Christopher Bell, he may be the quickest each and every week. And finally now the execution is there and the finishes are matching their performance.
Martin Truex had a lot of road course success. Now there's a lane open under Bubba Wallace, but Bubba closes that door after Bell goes by. Tell me those aren't raindrops on the screen of our rooftop camera.
It's wet dirt, Mike.
Oh, okay. 4 laps complete in Sonoma. Pole sitter Kyle Larson with Chase Elliott keeping close tabs on the leader.
From pit road. When you're looking at that running order here early on, you might be surprised to see the 34 of Michael McDowell. He's currently running 3rd. A strong start to the day for McDowell, who's having a strong season overall. That 34 team has led 38 laps so far this year and has 5 top 10s, which is actually the most McDowell has ever seen in one season. Like I said, running 3rd here early on in this race at Sonoma, so keep an eye on that 34 team as they're off to a strong start.
6 laps complete. Chevy's 1-2. Look at these Fords 3 and 4 right close together. Here are your Ford track backs for today. That's a little too close. Ford has won 4 races. Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and 2 for Joey Logano. They also won the Clash at the Coliseum and the All-Star race. Ryan Blaney. 3rd and 4th place. Chris Buescher has just kind of nibbled away at whatever gap Michael McDowell had, so that now there is no more gap 3rd to 4th.
You know, Michael McDowell in that 34 car, I talked to his crew chief Blake Harris yesterday, and he said they spent 3 weeks working on the simulator preparing for Sonoma because they know a road course or super speedway, it's their best opportunity.
And Chris is, or not Chris, but McDowell is a very, very good road course racer, has been for years. This is a great opportunity, and the work that they did leading into Sonoma this weekend showed the very first lap they were on track yesterday. He had a sizable margin on the field.
Looking at turn 4A, there is Brad Keselowski. He's up 4 spots since the start. One of the biggest movers. Christopher Bell up 8, Eric Jones, William Byron, AJ Allmendinger up 5, and then Brad up 4 spots from where he started.
And Mike, you talked about the points before the green flag. Brad Keselowski, he's 179 points below the cut line. Even with 11 races to go, he's going to have to win to get in.
Okay. 5th place, Daniel Suarez. Jamie.
Yeah, he's moved up 3 spots already, Mike. And, you know, yesterday in the Truck Series race, Carson Hocevar had that broken right leg. He had to get out of the truck at the end of stage 1. So Daniel Suarez jumped in. He was 2 laps down, came back to finish 6th. And I asked him about that performance and how it could help today. He said the car and the truck are so different, but lap times here help. He said getting in that rhythm help, and it's showing already early in this race.
Having a great drive. In 5th place. Now, how about his Trackhouse teammate, Ross Chastain, who had that big dust-up with Denny Hamlin last week? Well, look who's nose to tail. Tony, you can't make this stuff up.
No, and anytime there's rivalries, it's like having 2 magnets on each car. I mean, it just draws them together, and they never get away from each other.
If I put my Phil Surgeon hat on right now, the crew chief of Ross Chastain, let's just ride here for a little bit.
Well, I think Denny started behind him, so at some point Denny has got around him, and I think Ross is probably thankful that he's still rolling right now.
Now, we could keep a camera all day on this pair, but you really expect retaliation today?
Well, I used to deal with it different than a lot of guys, and I know Denny said he's going to wait till it matters, and that would be the playoffs, obviously. I didn't want to wait that long. Everybody thinks I liked being upset with other drivers. I didn't like it at all. Hated it because I liked the guys I raced with. I respected them, but what you want to teach them is how to be respectful on the racetrack and how the etiquette works. And that's the things that Rusty Wallace and Dale Sr. and Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, a lot of great drivers taught me when I started. And this will happen in this scenario too. He will get coached by a lot of his fellow drivers, and Ross will learn and he'll figure it out.
But I really liked what I saw there at turn 11 because Denny Hamlin saw Chastain coming to the inside, went way wide in the corner, gave him all kinds of room, so no issue here.
And we're on lap 10 of 110.
Right.
There's nothing to be gained at this point. That one spot's not going to make or break you. It's about just being smart at this point.
But you know, Tony, you mentioned lap 10. This is normally at Sonoma when issues with the race cars, they start rearing their head. If it starts getting real loose, exit or won't turn getting in the corner now that we've got this many laps.
Well, and just in the first 10 laps here, from lap 5 with Kyle Larson, the leader, he was running 18.4. At lap 10, he's running 19.5.
Kaboom, Bubba Wallace.
Just get off over there and stop. Get out.
And that will put us under the first caution of the day at turn 4A on lap 10. Now, back to this in a moment, but Kyle Busch had gotten right there. Now Bubba downshifting for turn 4A, coming down the hill. That's when that one went loose. But here's Kyle Busch and company.
I'm on ice everywhere. Turn 7 is the worst. 10-4.
Did you say ice?
Yes, he did.
That's his way of saying no grip.
Thinking it's not that cold.
Yeah, I was like, man, it was really cold when we got here this morning, but not that cold.
That's a tough break for Bubba Wallace. We're going to ride with Martin Truex. Oh, it's already gone going up the hill. Now, Tony, you tested in these cars at Bowman Gray Stadium, and I know you
look at the fluid out of the exhaust pipes there.
I know you probably didn't do a lot of shifting there, but it's not possible to miss a shift with this gearbox, is it?
No, it's really not. You're not using the clutch when you're shifting. You're just getting out of the gas for a split second, pulling the handle. That indexes the gear, and you go on. But it's, I think with all the downshifts here, I mean, who knows in practice yesterday if he had any issues, if there was a part where he did an over rev on a downshift, for example. So it's not likely to see a motor expire this early in the run, is it, Larry?
So we keep talking about the 5-speed sequential shifter, unlike the 4-speed from last year. So let's go to our Ford Performance Cutaway car, and let's kind of show you the sequential shifter. Now, again, it's still on the floor on the right side of the driver. It's not like it's paddle shifted. But to shift it, it's not the H pattern. You just keep pulling it back. From second to third to fourth to fifth, there's a mechanism back there that hooks it into the gearbox. There's no transmission. You have a gearbox and you have a transaxle, which is a lot like most other series of racing has today.
Well, looking at the fluids coming out of that pipe, it'd be like Kenny Strader used to say. One of them big important parts must have broke.
Yeah, that's one of those that it will not fix itself.
I worked for an engine builder that one time said, can we just say it was an oil pan failure?
When a rod comes out the oil pan, it fails. Understood.
Yeah, I don't see any takers here. So what they're doing, they're trying to get off sequence here. They see how good that 5 car is, because we're going to go back racing here probably in about 2 or 3 laps. I do expect about 10 laps later, Jamie Little to see other leaders in for pit stops.
Yeah, Kyle Busch in the 18 said this car feels nothing like it did yesterday. There's no turn, no drive off. Feels like he's on ice. He's not sure what's going on with it, but he wants to come in here. They're going to fuel him up, make an adjustment to help get that security back in that 18.
A.J. Allmendinger also in. Well, now the last laps that Kyle Busch turned here were in the truck race, turning into victory lane yesterday. So that would have been a whole different feel. Bubba Wallace, who came into Sonoma 96 points below the cut line, is the first car out of the race, bringing out the caution at lap 10.
$11 laps complete here for Sunday's Cup race at Sonoma Raceway. We are, for the first time today, seeing a few teams decide to bring it down pit road. Something we're going to see a lot of today is varying pit strategies, and that's because at this point in the season, teams have a lot of different agendas. Some drivers looking for wins, other drivers looking to rack up stage points. That being said, this is a good time to take a look at that regular season standings. Chase Elliott on top with 507 points. Kyle Busch 9 behind him in second. Ross Chastain, look at him, his first season with Trackhouse Racing. He is sitting third in the regular season standings with Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. rounding out the top 5. As you take a look at the 6 through 10, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Christopher Bell, I will remind you that, as I mentioned, teams playing out different strategies, that's because 15 playoff points are on the line for the regular season champion. So as much as wins are there, playoff points are absolutely on these teams' minds as well. So keep that in mind as you see how pit strategy plays out today.
Always our favorite trip of the year.
Absolutely.
Wine Country, Sonoma, fittingly the final race for Fox NASCAR for this season. And a great place to be. Wine Country in Sonoma. So A.J. Allmendinger's pit stop was due to a power steering pump failure. Tony, how's that going to make that car very difficult to drive?
It's going to make it very difficult for him just physically to drive it. I mean, I know somebody that probably the only guy I know that could get away with it is retired now, and that's Ryan Newman. He actually drove a race without the power steering, and it is incredibly hard to steer these cars without power like that.
Well, so why, other than overcoming that pump that's still hooked up there?
The caster in the cars, when you turn the wheel, it actually pulls the inside of the wheel down into the track, so you're physically picking up the inside corner. So it's just to physically overpower picking up the chassis and making that tire turn on top of the speeds and loads and the grip in the tire. It makes it extremely hard without power steering.
So at the back half of the field are 11 cars that stopped. Look at that right side of your screen, that brand new turn 11 viewing area and show place. That whole new building just completed. And the other night played host to the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame induction. Here they come out of 11, that little kink of turn 12, and then they'll face the flag for the restart. Reddick outside trying to sneak up next to McDowell into 3. He's there. Nope, not all the way to 3A though.
On the wrong side of that road there.
Yeah, Chris Buescher in that 17, he took advantage of that restart. He took that third position away from McDowell in the 34.
Bumper, you're clear.
Now during the caution flag, of course you have 5 gears. You've got a lot of choices here. Here's Ross Chastain and company.
You're running a lower gear, more RPM, group 2, 4, and 7 than what the 5 is. What about the 99 gear selection? Am I the same as them or up or down a gear? You're down a gear compared to him as well.
And just for the record, how they know that is they have that SMT data. They can see their data plus their teammates plus everybody else in the field as far as RPM, throttle, brake, steering, things of that nature.
Ryan Blaney on the outside, trying to take a spot going into turn 11 and almost loses the nose.
And to your point there, I mean, that's the great thing. If somebody's really making time, the crew chief on the pit box can pull that data up. They can compare everything from throttle trace, brake trace, gear selection, all of that. So it's free data that they have during the race that 5, 6, 7 years ago, we never had that.
Chase Briscoe held off Blaney into turn 11 last time. There's a little curb hop going on, coming out of 3A and down the hill to 4.
You know, Mike, watching Ryan Blaney in that 12th car in a Ford, the last time a Ford won on a road course, you've got to go all the way back to his win at the Charlotte Roval in the fall of 2018.
That wasn't just the curb. That's widening the track.
And that's a spot that you don't see a lot of moves made right there. But
well, he had his hands full right there talking about Ryan Blaney.
Jamie?
Well, about 10 minutes ago, Blaney had radio to his crew. He's like, I can't go anywhere in dirty air. It's not bad. It's just tighter than it was yesterday. So he's trying to make hay, as you saw him side by side with Joey Hand. And I asked Blaney about his prowess on a road course. What do you think? How do you rate yourself? He said, I give myself a solid B, B minus. I'm okay, but not great.
Okay. '15th place, Kevin Harvick just ahead of Alex Bowman here. And Eric Jones is off course.
Get it going. Still no one coming if you can fire it.
Running 20th. And that is at turn 2.
He was one of those drivers had to start at the rear of the field because of unapproved adjustments.
We saw him coming up the hill there out on turn 1. He was very, very far to the outside, very wide. Wonder if he just picked up a bunch of debris on the tires, and when he got there, he just didn't have the grip. Didn't have time to get the tire cleaned off first. They got dirtier when he got him in the dirt, too.
Yes. Jones continues without incident. And here's what was said.
What happened? Wow, 21 get into me? No, nobody touched you. You just went around.
Jamie?
Well, and to add to that, Mike, he just hasn't been happy with this car. He said it has no drive, no turn, just not happy with it. And as you heard him there, has no idea how he spun.
I think Tony nailed it. When you get off groove here, especially when these cars are mostly single file, what's going to be out there to the side? All those little marbles that come off the tires.
We saw
if they get on yours, there's no grip.
Yeah, and on lap 1 on the start, we saw a lot of dust there. I don't know if they had problems during the truck race yesterday that they had to put oil dry down, but it's pretty dirty on the outside of that outside of that corner anyway. So it does. There's marbles that just continuously build up. You can see them there.
16 laps complete. Kyle Larson, a second and a half up on Chase Elliott and Chris Buescher, as we'll take you box side by side.
Stage 1 underway here at Sonoma Raceway, and that 99 of Daniel Suarez is currently running 6th. Now, this is not Daniel's first time on the racetrack competing this weekend, as he was running yesterday last minute in the Truck Series. He filled in for Carson Hocevar, who underwent surgery this week, and about midway through Stage 1, put his helmet on and hopped in the truck. Got a couple laps on the track here, not only helping out Nice Motorsports, but helping out himself, as track time is incredibly valuable here at Sonoma Raceway. In 4 starts here at Sonoma, Daniel has never finished better than 12th. Now, I know it's early, but currently running in the top 10. Good start for that 99 team.
The Hendrick Camaro twins, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, 2 seconds apart, keeping close tabs on one another. They, of course, did not stop at the caution. Now here's Chris Buescher right up against Elliott. This is for second place, with Michael McDowell in 4th, Tyler Reddick 5th. The first of the cars that stopped and took tires is Kyle Busch back in 18th place. He has gained 10 spots since that pit stop.
And it definitely looks like the 9-car handling is going away, that we're closing in on 20 laps here. You can see it, Tony. Looks like it's a little bit tail happy.
Yeah, going into 11 there, we saw him on heavy braking there. Right as you start turning, you're asking the tire to do 2 things. You're asking it to slow the car down, plus it has to have the lateral grip at the same time. So you're asking it to double up on the load.
Chastain gets by his teammate Suarez. That's for 6th place. Bubba Wallace, first car out of the race. Here's Vince.
Boy, the hits just keep on coming on this 23 camp. Another bad break, the motor letting go for Bubba Wallace. Man, how do you put all this in perspective? What's happening to you guys this season?
Off weekend. That's what we need to reset. Guess the mustache needs to come off. Man, I was really just biding our time and was doing less shifting than I was in practice, just trying to conserve some tire, and never had an over rev, never went the wrong way, and she just blew. So I hate it for our team, hate it for all of our partners. You know, we deserve to be, you know, finishing a lot better than what we have been these last few months. And like you said, the hits keep coming, but you know, we got to bounce back. There's nothing like some good adversity to fight through to get our way back to where we need to be. But man, it's just a bummer. TRD's the best. We'll figure it out. We're all scratching our heads trying to figure everything out, but just an unfortunate end to our day.
Thanks, Bubba.
Thanks, Vince. His teammate Kurt Busch in an uncharacteristic 28th place as we watch the race for 10th.
Well, we've been seeing this over the last 10 laps as well. The handling starting to go away on that 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Keeps losing spots.
And I don't think anybody really had enough time in practice yesterday to understand exactly what they're going to be fighting. I mean, the cars feel great. When you put 4 fresh tires on them, they feel really good. Lap 15, lap 20 is when you start really seeing what your balance is and what you're going to be fighting the rest of the day.
Yeah, the longest run they were able to get in that 20-minute practice was about 12 or 13 laps.
I'm into 4 more this stage.
That was 7th place. Kyle Larson on cruise control, Jamie.
And his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, nailed the weather for today. He made some adjustments yesterday between practice and qualifying, and Larson told him, you guys did great. This car is awesome. He feels like his teammate Chase Elliott in the 9. The only place he's beating him is in turn 10. Everywhere else they feel like they are lights out. So bad news for the competition right now.
Chase Elliott has his hands full with Chris Buescher.
Well, we will be coming to 3 laps to go in this stage the next time Kyle Larson comes by. Now, they're going to close pit road once the leader crosses the start-finish line with 2 to go. But if you're back 13 seconds or more behind the leader, you can't bank on that leader that he's going to pit before the stage ends. So this opens the window, this lap right here, for anybody that's further back than 13 seconds to hit pit road.
Chris Buescher sidelined last week with COVID, back this week, and what do they say about a bad cold? Sweat it out? Man, that's what he's doing.
That's exactly the best way to do it.
This is coming out of turn 4A. Down the chute to turn 7. Something that wouldn't have happened last year with the carousel part of the course in use. But Elliott took a very wide line through there. Gave Buescher all kinds of room. And here they all come. Well, not all, but here a lot of them come to pit road before stage 1 ends.
Well, they had to come now, Mike, because they don't know that Kyle Larson's not going to try to win this stage.
Vince?
Now the 9 of Kyle Larson, or the 9 of Chase Elliott is coming in. Also the 4 of Kevin Harvick. You saw Harvick just getting tires and fuel. The 11 of Denny Hamlin in as well with tires. Boy, these guys could not wait to get these fresh tires on, looking for a little more grip.
Larry, I think Kyle Larson may be on the same plan as last year. Something we thought couldn't be done. Win both stages and win the race.
Talked to a lot of crew chiefs this week, and they said it might be doable to try to win the first stage. You could be against the edge trying to win both stages and the race.
Briscoe and Bowman going at it side by side here.
That's all off of pit road, and it just shows because the tires are cold. And normally on an oval, we want cold tires, but here you have to get the tires cut in and scrubbed in to get the grip.
Long stop for Christopher Bell in 20. This has been one of their Achilles heel a lot this year on pit road.
So Buescher is in, so is Elliott and McDowell.
Mike, Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson, they're doing the same thing they did a year ago. They're going to win this stage. He did not pit, and pit road is closed now.
Pit road closes with 2 laps to go at the end of each stage. So that means Larson will have to make and wait and make his pit stop under caution at the stage break. Now we saw a bit of contact between Blaney and Hamlin. Coming out of 4A here into 7.
I think Denny just locked the left fronts up, or the fronts up a little bit, and just got him off. Ryan gave him room, and Denny didn't mean to do that. There it is, just locks the right front tire up. As soon as you do that, you got one tire turning the car, not two. So, and then the other 4 tires on the outside made it turn a lot better as well.
8 wheels usually corner better than 4, right?
Exactly.
Larson at turn 11 with 1 to go in stage 1. So the cars that did not pit include Larson,
1 more right here to the stage, 1 more.
Logano, Harrison Burton, Kurt Busch, Ricky Stenhouse, and Eric Jones. Jamie.
Cliff Daniels told Kyle Larson, all right, we can win this stage. It's going to be tough to win the next one, but we're going to stay the course. Let's stick with our plan. So Larry Mack, you were right. They want to duplicate last year.
Well, and my biggest concern is, by my calculations, when we cycle through after the stage and pit stops, he's going to start well outside the top 20.
Now, last year it was possible because we ran the carousel. The course was a half-mile longer than it is this year, trying to win both stages and the race.
And he may have added to the fact that he had a car that was about a 1/2 to 3/4 of a second faster than anybody else is.
That always gives you confidence to do things that are a little bit outside the box, and things that we're sitting here in the booth going, why did he not take advantage and keep his track position, stay out of trouble to get back there in 20th or beyond that? Now you're putting yourself in a spot that you don't necessarily want to be in, but that shows you how valuable these stage points are when it comes to the playoffs.
Well, to show you how jumbled up things are, Ricky Stenhouse and Cody Ware back there in position to get some stage points here at the end of stage 1. And Cody Ware started the race last due to inspection issues and had to do a drive-through after completing lap 1 down pit road. This will be Larson's 2nd stage win of the season and his 3rd straight stage win here for Kyle Larson and crew chief Cliff Daniels. Larson the stage winner over Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Justin Haley, and Eric Almirola.
Stage 1 is complete here at Sonoma Raceway, and Kyle Larson is your Stage 1 winner. Now, if you remember last year, Kyle Larson basically put on a clinic here at Sonoma. He went out and won all 3 stages, leading almost 60% of the laps, which is very impressive considering the Stage 1 winner has not finished in the top 10 in the last 5 road course races. And typically at Sonoma, the Stage 1 winner or Stage 2 winner has never won the race. Last year was the first time we saw that. Now, I did mention earlier we're going to see a lot of varying pit strategy today. We saw a slew of drivers bring it in here just before the stage end. Drivers including Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, other championship contenders, because those drivers are less concerned about stage points and more concerned about track position and setting themselves up for the win. So keep that in mind here as we approach the end of Stage 2 and you see drivers choose different pit strategies as they have different agendas here in mind.
Welcome back to Sonoma. 26 laps complete, end of Stage 1. Here are the cars that did not pit under the lap 10 caution or at lap 23 before pit road closed. Vince?
Joey Logano said he'd know within the first 20 laps if he had a car that could potentially win today. Well, he likes what he's got. Just a slight air pressure adjustment to help it turn a little bit better along with those 4 tires. Jamie?
Kyle Busch started off terrible in this race, but remember, he's already pitted once. They were able to make some adjustments there, but they're bringing it in. They'll put on his second set of sticker tires here, and another adjustment for him. Meanwhile, it's been all about Kyle Larson in the 5, and he is in. They said, what's your balance like? You need anything? He said, I am good. We'll see what it's going to do here in traffic. He hasn't done that yet.
Here's your Ram race off pit road. Kyle Busch picks up 2 spots. Almirola, Burton, and Kurt Busch 1 each. So remember when Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin got together up at turn number 7. Here's a look at it. Hamlin going into that corner, locks up the tire, as Tony pointed out. Had one wheel turning and significant contact led to this later statement over the in-car radio from Blaney.
Can't wait to have to pass everybody back, and then 11's going to get one coming to him. Tell him that.
Now, Denny Hamlin.
I don't know if you're around Josh, but tell him I'm sorry. Locked it up. Tell him I'll give it back to him when he comes to stop me again.
And that's Josh Williams, which is Ryan Blaney's spotter.
Yeah, and this, you know, it was a mistake. These guys are still trying to figure out what can they get away with on the brakes and what can't they. And when you slide the nose like that, you get into a guy. Denny's doing the right thing. If Ryan gets to him, he's absolutely going to give him that spot back. Now it's just a matter of the spotters communicating and relaying that information back, because I'm sure Ryan doesn't realize that he slid the front end getting in there. He just knows he got pushed out of the way.
So Stage 1 is complete with a brand new car, a different course than last week, but the same first stage winner. Pole sitter Kyle Larson.
Moments away from getting this second stage underway here at Sonoma Raceway. Chase Elliott in that 9 car up front here as we approach the beginning of stage 2. Chase has 1 win on the season so far. It's at Dover, and historically he seems to be the guy to watch here on road courses. He's won 7 of the last 15 road course races, and of course is our 2020 Cup Series champion. But with all of those accolades, surprisingly, he does not have a win here at Sonoma. With 1 win on the Daytona road course, COTA, Road America, the list goes on, but this is one racetrack that has not been able to add itself to his resume. So Chase Elliott, another one with his eyes on victory lane here today.
Getting ready for the restart, they approach the Geico restart zone. Christopher Bell was scheduled to get the free pass, but when he pitted under green, he pitted outside his box, so he was under penalty. No free pass at the end of stage 1. Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher side by side, and here we go, stage 2. Top of the course right there.
And I know we've talked about tire wear being a big factor. On these restarts, you want to get everything you can get for the first 2 laps, and then you need to settle in. But everybody is so aggressive in these braking zones that you have to take anything you can get these first couple laps. Then once it sorts out and gets single file again, then you start getting in protection mode. But you've got to be aggressive on these restarts here.
And Tony, that's what Kyle Larson is going to have to do, because to our point, staying out, winning that stage, he's somewhere back there in that wad, restarted 24th in that 5 car.
Well, Chase Elliott's pit crew got him the lead from Chris Buescher. Based on pit performance there, the driver time is very similar, but a 3-second difference by the pit crew put Elliott up front.
Not a big surprise, Mike. We keep track of 4 tire stop averages through now the first 15 races. The 9 pit crew led by Alan Gustafson. That group right there, they're at the top of the sheet.
Now we heard about the 11 and the 12, so let's add the postscript. Ryan Blaney, after he heard about Hamlin's apology.
11 apologized, said he'd give it back if he got back to him. I said, yeah, we might as well too. I'm sure he's very sorry. Oh, yeah.
Well, what was it Denny Hamlin said last week when they told him? Yeah, right.
Yeah. We as drivers, we get our feelings hurt real easy. and it's hard to forgive.
That's Alex Bowman in 9th, trying to pull away from Ryan Blaney, who closes it up coming through turn 10. AJ Allmendinger without power steering, toughing it out here. And looking outside, road race specialist Joey Hand in the 15 this week.
Watching AJ there, and man, watch him having to saw on that wheel with no power steering. This is tough, and this is a tough place to do it. Like we mentioned, you don't get it. You don't have any long straightaways to catch your breath and relax a little bit and let your muscles relax. So he is just manhandling this thing at this point. But the great thing is we got an in-car camera. We'll be able to get a read, I think, on him as time goes on. You'll be able to tell if he starts getting fatigued because you'll see him start using his shoulders a little more. I mean, right now he looks as relaxed as you could ask for right now under the circumstances. But as time goes on and later this race gets, he has got to start getting tired. And we should be able to see it from inside the car.
Kyle Larson only up 2 spots since the restart, so being very methodical here.
Well, Tony, you pointed it out to me earlier looking at lap times. He's stuck back there in a wad. He's 2 seconds a lap off what Chase Elliott's running as the leader.
Yeah, and these cars, unfortunately, they're still very aero sensitive, and in traffic they get a lot tighter. So the balance that he had by himself, he was really happy with. Now you put cars in front of him where he's got dirty air, I guarantee his balance is much different than what it was in the lead.
That was turn 10. Not sure who created that dust storm by putting 2 wheels off at 10, but that's a dodgy move, but it happens pretty frequently. Ty Dillon falling to Kyle Larson there. That's 21st place. And Larson up 3 since the restart, but work to do. Corey LaJoie, Kyle Busch side by side. So there's first and second. Elliott and Buescher still nose to tail. Just the way they restarted. Well, they restarted side by side. Ross Chastain in third, and his teammate Daniel Suarez sitting 4th after stage 1.
Coca-Cola and NASCAR. There is real magic when we cheer together. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
.33 laps complete here as stage 2 is well underway, and it is Chase Elliott in that 9 car pacing the field currently. You know, I'm not surprised to see a little bit of contact there in turn 11, the final turn, as the drivers are approaching the start finish line. You heard a few drivers on the radio having to apologize to each other here early on in the race. This week I heard championship winning crew chief, America's crew chief, Larry McReynolds, refer to that turn 11 as a backwards Martinsville. He said that's all it is, just look at it as a backwards Martinsville, which of course is much easier said than done. And Martinsville, of course, breeds a lot of aggression. So keep an eye on turn 11, as I would not be surprised to see more contact there. And by the way, as far as being able to trust Larry McReynolds, beyond the fact that he's America's crew chief, he was also on the pit box for the very first win here at Sonoma, crew chiefing for Ricky Rudd.
Welcome back to Sonoma, where Chase Elliott and Chris Buescher continue bumper to bumper with Ross Chastain a second and a half back. Daniel Suarez 2 seconds. Tyler Reddick 3. Kevin Harvick 4. Michael McDowell 5. Cole Custer, Bowman, and Blaney the top 10. Nice run for Harvick, who has gained the most spots since the start of this race.
And talking to him yesterday, I mean, he wasn't happy with his qualifying run, but he was very happy with his race balance. He felt like he had a car that was going to be good on a long run.
Vince?
Yeah, and to echo what Tony was saying in regards to Kevin Harvick, he was really happy with his race car. It's been almost 2 years since he won, but Kevin believes he had a car capable of contending today. And like what Tony said, Harvick said the qualifying effort was just he simply missed it, did not drive it the way it needed to be driven. But he really liked their race car. They didn't make any major adjustments at that first stop either, just a little bit of air pressure to help it drive off a little better.
Well, there he is, 6th and in the lead pack. He has the leaders in sight, which is always a good motivator. And Kyle Larson has passed Hendrick teammate William Byron, moving him up to 17th.
Well, and that leads us to our subway right combination. Kyle Larson, the 5 team, crew chief Cliff Daniels on road courses. Won this race a year ago, won both stages, led 57 laps. He's actually won 3 of the last 6 road course races, 5 top 3s in the last 7, led every lap here in 2014 to win the ARCA Menard Series West. And think about this, a Hendrick Motorsports driver has won Sonoma 7 times. Those numbers and maybe some strategy different from Cliff Daniels could be the subway right combination for Kyle Larson and his 5 team to get their 2nd win in 2022.
Well, right now he's battling Martin Truex, who is going to be a tough out. Truex, one of the most successful road racers in this generation of NASCAR.
You know, right now, Kyle Larson in the 5, of course, his teammate Chase Elliott is leading over Chris Buescher, but Larson has made it back to 17th. Tony, if he can somehow make it to the top 10 or 12, I think they're going to have to go for some different strategy. I don't think they can stay out there and try to win that stage, but I think they can get back in this game.
Well, and the closer to the front they get, the tougher it's going to get to make that ground. I mean, the cars in the back of the pack are struggling. The cars don't drive well. It's easier to pick those positions off. You get to the top 10 now you're in a little tougher company, and making those passes and having to drive harder, abuse your tires and brakes a little more. That's things and factors that are going to come into play trying to get to the front.
So Larson has passed Truex, and now he sets sight on Joey Hand from Sacramento. ALMS champ, Le Mans winner for Ford with the GTs, Daytona 24 Hours, that Ford GT program. And he's done a very good job in this Rick Ware car at Sonoma. 2nd biggest mover since the restart.
And Tony, I think Ford has had Joey working with a lot of the Ford drivers when it comes to road course racing.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time with all 4 of our cars and drivers at SHR. I met Joey at the shop, super nice guy, and his resume, his racing resume on road courses is unbelievable. That's why Ford thinks so highly of him, and the feedback that he's been able to give our drivers and how he's been able to work with each of them. Every driver's got a unique personality, but Joey has done such a great job working with all 4 of our guys. It has been a huge asset and a huge help to our program.
Now here's Larson looking to the outside, crossover here on Hand, as we look at Tyler Reddick in 5th place.
I talked to Tyler a couple years ago, and he absolutely just dreaded going road course racing, but then he put a lot of effort into it, and now he's fast every single time we go to a road course. This team here, I talked to Tyler earlier this week. He said if we can just put the beginning, the middle, and the end of a race together, we can close this deal out with a fast race car. Jamie Little?
And Larry, you're right. He used to hate road course racing, but he said, I overcame it mentally. I told myself I was going to like it and I was going to work hard at it. He went to school in the gym. He went to school on all the notes and data and how to get better at this style of racing, and he actually enjoys it now. As far as this weekend, he said they're in the ballpark, but they weren't great in practice. He's working on getting comfortable. Definitely wasn't comfortable in that one practice session yesterday, but he's holding tight in this race so far.
Reminds me of a fellow named Earnhardt, who was not a great road racer. He snuck off to the Bob Bondurant School and went to chief instructor Bill Cooper. And the winningest stock car driver of his generation told Cooper, teach me how to do this. And Bill did. And suddenly, Earnhardt was a real threat when we came to the road courses. Here's Larson on Joey Hand in replay.
It did not come easy. He had to work that 15 car over a lot.
And that's a tough spot to get by right there. That's literally getting off at turn 7 with good forward drive. Joey probably was kind of guarding the inside a little bit, and Kyle Larson's never afraid to go to the outside, as we all know, so he doesn't mind rifling in up there.
So Kyle Larson up to the top 15 on quite a different pit strategy than anybody else in the top 20. Chase Elliott leading Chris Buescher by 3/4 of a second after 39 laps in Sonoma.
Laps are ticking down here towards the ends of stage 2, and the 9 car of Chase Elliott is still your leader. Interestingly enough, though, that 9 car looking like it will be the stage winner. And this season, we've only seen one stage 2 winner to go on to win the race, and that was Kurt Busch at Kansas just a few months ago. Note, though, whether or not Chase Elliott has a successful run or a stage win, this is going to be a big day for Hendrick Motorsports as they approach their 100,000th mile lead. Chase is about 9 laps away, or any Hendrick Motorsport driver is about 9 laps away leading this race from reaching that milestone for that team. Again, 100,000 miles led for Hendrick Motorsports should be completed here in just a few laps.
NHRA returns to Sonoma next month. The Sonoma Nationals are on Fox Sunday, July 24th, 4 p.m. 7 of the next NHRA races are on Fox starting next week in Thunder Valley at Bristol, Tennessee. Here are the upcoming races. How are Smoke and Associates doing this season?
So far, so good. Matt Hagan driving our funny cars, leading the points. Won last week, so he's got 3 wins this season. And Leah's team, a new group, they're doing a great job of making solid laps, just haven't had much luck yet, but it's coming. I can see it on the horizon.
Well, we'll look forward to NHRA on Fox from a lot of these Speedway Motorsports tracks, like Bristol, Sonoma, and Bristol.
I just can't say enough about this 17 car and Chris Buescher. He just will not go away. I mean, qualified inside the top 5 and right there on the rear bumper of the leader, Chase Elliott.
Vince?
Buescher doesn't really have much of a road course racing background. He said it's not, natural to him, but he works a lot with road course driving coach Billy Johnson, and he credits Johnson with improving his road course driving, the way he approaches it, the way he visualizes the turns, the braking points, etc. And he said that's been the difference maker in why he's such a more comfortable road course racer these days.
Well, it's a huge difference. Prior to today, in 5 starts at Sonoma, Chris Buescher had only 6 total laps running in a top 5 position. Big turnaround here.
He did win an Xfinity Series road course race at Mid-Ohio several years ago.
Kyle Busch, since the restart, is down 3 spots and not happy about it.
Back to a piece of front, doesn't turn in the center. This is a joke, dude. Horrible. A joke.
No, I used to carry an index card in my pocket. What if the car was doing this? I just never had a card that gave me the answer to awful and a joke.
Well, normally when he says that, that means his car is average. It gets way worse when it's way worse than this.
Won the truck race here yesterday, but currently, whether it's due to strategy or setup, mired in 26th.
Yeah, and he and Kyle Larson restarted right together. And to your point, Mike, 26, Kyle Larson has now cracked the top 15, 14th in that 5 car.
And Justin Haley that we're seeing here. Justin's a kid. I'm super excited about watching him. I like watching him each week. I feel like he's a driver that has got a ton of potential. He just goes out. When he makes mistakes, it's the learning mistakes. It's not because you're over driving it. He just makes mistakes that you learn as you go. But he has been solid. I mean, he was solid at the LA Coliseum, had a good run there, and he has had some really good runs this year. I think he's going to do great.
Yeah, got that 3rd place finish at one of the toughest tracks we go to at Darlington several weeks ago.
Ty Dillon through turn 11 here, just ahead of Haley and Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott 1 second up on Chris Buescher right now. The 5 and the 9, who you see compared at the bottom of the screen, have combined to win 10 of the last 15 road course races. And there is the comparison between them on this run.
Well, right now he's cracked the top 13. He's 19 seconds behind leader Chase Elliott, and the window's closing, and we're getting closer and closer toward the end of stage 2. In about 7 to 8 laps, that's when you're going to have to make that pit stop before they close pit road.
Well, I'm surprised some of those numbers are so close, because Elliott has been out in clean air and Larson has mostly been in heavy traffic.
Yeah, and he's having to use these tires a lot more. He doesn't have the luxury of braking where he wants, accelerating the way he wants. He's having to take advantage of every opportunity he's getting right now.
Tony, take us for a ride with Daniel Suarez on a lap around Sonoma here.
He's up in turn 2 right there. A lot of times you use a lot of curb. That curb helps plant the left side to get it stuck. Gets a lot of load right there in the bottom of 3, and then you're coming up to tricky 3A where it's a blind corner. You got to get it cut and be able to get back to the gas hard as you crest the hill. Heavy braking into turn 4 here. Cross over the curb, which they've cut the curb down, which is nice. The cars aren't bouncing around. Downhill into turn 7. This is an easy spot to lock the rear brakes up. Get right to the curb, get squared up, hard acceleration to get set up right here for the S's. It's real important to get the nose to cut early here. Get it to cut back. Another over the crest, getting it to accelerate hard, carry a lot of speed down through here to turn 10. And turn 10 is really critical on momentum, carrying speed, getting the nose to cut, but being able to get back in the gas. one of the fastest sections here. There's a little bit of a dip going in here to 11. You can use a lot of brake in that dip because it actually loads the car. Then it's hard to get the tires to cut in turn 11 and hard to get it to accelerate forward off of the corner.
You scrub off almost 100 miles an hour from 10 to 11. Start finish.
Turn one here is really fun because it's a double apex and you got to get right to that curb on the left-hand side to set up for 2. Daniel really loose on the exit there. This course has so much character to it. There's nothing that's simple about it. But when you get in a rhythm, it's really, really fun. But you have to know how to play the load when it's in a dip where you can get the tires loaded, and then the crest where you're going up over top and the car gets light. You have to be able to modulate the throttle over those corners.
A challenging but fun place to race. As Chase Elliott leads Chris Buescher by 1.6 seconds. 9 to go in stage 2. We'll go side by side.
Quickly coming to an end here. You saw the 43 briefly get off the racetrack. No concern though, he's back on track and the green flag is still out. I do want to note that for Kevin Harvick though, currently running 6th here as we approach the end of stage 2. Harvick does know what it takes to get a win here. He wanted Sonoma back in 2017, but he is still looking to end that winless streak, not having seen victory lane since 2020. And after a 33rd place finish last weekend at Gateway, he's officially dropped out of the top 16 and is no longer eligible for the playoffs. So that 4 team really looking to find victory lane here sometime in the next couple weeks to solidify a spot here in the playoffs. As we see just a few laps here to go in the end of stage 2, I will keep you updated from down here on pit road.
.48 laps complete, turn 10. Chase Elliott flashes past with the lead, 1.7 seconds up on Chris Buescher. It's a good gap, 8 seconds back to Daniel Suarez. No longer battling his Trackhouse teammate for that position. Here's what happened to Ross Chastain as he went to try to pass Suarez, going from turn 4 to 7.
Diving down the hill, and you see the rear end get out, and that's just rear brakes. The rear brakes are stronger than what the grip of the tires are at this point in the stage. You just lose grip.
Well, let's ride along.
And you hear that ratcheting sound. That's when it's chattering those rear tires, when you hear that real loud ratchet. And once it starts doing that, the only thing you can do to get the tire back is to get off of the brake. But you still got to stop and make the corner.
Bumper here. He spun himself out. All clear here.
So that cost Chastain 3 positions on the racetrack. Suarez is 3rd. Chastain continues in 7th, just ahead of Ryan Blaney. Because Reddick, Harvick, and McDowell got past Chastain as he tried to right his ship and continue.
And we talked about how you have 2 teammates like that, and the car that's in 2nd of the 2 is faster, and why wouldn't the teammate let the other one by? The way the etiquette of the sport has turned into lately is that nobody works with each other. Nobody lets each other by. And most of the time it's because the tires are so good that they just don't have that big fall off. We're at Sonoma. Tire wear has always been a factor here. Goodyear's done a great job of bringing a softer tire here, which lets the fall off be a lot greater window. So if you can be smart, and this is where the older drivers have a little bit of an advantage. If you're smart, you might let a guy go here or there early in a stage when they're running too hard. And later, they've got better tires, and they're going to get those spots back and then some.
Sure. Well, Hendrick Motorsports has reached a milestone in NASCAR today. 100,000 miles led in the Cup Series. First team to accomplish that. Of course, back in the early days, there weren't many 4-car teams. Now it is the norm among the super teams, but 100,000 miles, that's a ways. Congratulations.
Well, they've led all 50 so far today, between Kyle Larson leading 26 and now Chase Elliott leading 24.
That number 24 led a whole lot of those, mainly at the hands of Jeff Gordon.
Especially on these road courses, Jeff was tough.
5 to go in stage 2, Larry. What are we going to see for strategy here?
Yeah, I got to believe now, as we have talked about, it's going to be real tough to try to win stage 2 and be set up to win this race. So I would say in the next lap or 2, you're going to see most of these people, most of these drivers starting to hit pit road. And remember, you probably want to do it when we complete 52, if you're sitting back there like McDowell, Blaney on back, because they're 13 or more seconds behind leader Chase Elliott. But I couldn't imagine that Chase Elliott will not be one of the ones that makes that early pit stop.
10th place, Keselowski and rookie Austin Cindric. Martin Truex has just made his pit stop.
Well, James Small, I'm trying to get advantage, one more lap advantage of fresh tires in that 19.
Vince?
Boy, Martin Truex Jr., it has been a frustrating day. Been screaming on the radio, just cannot get that car to react the way he wants it to. No rear traction, can't get it to turn, 0 drive off. It's been a handful.
So Truex comes back on track, 33rd of the 35 cars still running. Bubba Wallace was out at lap 10 with engine failure.
I'd say it's going to get very busy now. There you see Tyler Reddick in the 8 car hitting pit road, and I'd say you'll see many more.
Some of these cars last on pit road at lap 22.
And I don't think you'll see anybody try to stay out, mainly from the standpoint we're watching the lap times up here. Kyle Larson's lap times are a 1.5 seconds slower than Chase Elliott's.
Wow.
And he was the fastest car the first stint.
Jamie?
Tyler Reddick yesterday in qualifying, huge moment, almost wrecked it, still qualified 5th to show you how much speed that car has. It's been pretty decent today, very quiet behind the wheel. Sounds like he's gotten a little more comfortable. That was the concern. The 12 of Ryan Blaney said last time he just fired off a little tighter. Hearing that a lot as the temps are just cooler today. After each stop, the car just gets tighter.
Ambient temperature, good 20 degrees cooler than yesterday. Alex Bowman having trouble on his launch. Keselowski and Chastain climbing the hill together.
And that is not Keselowski trying to run him up the hill. That is just cold tires that haven't got grip yet. You're trying to push to hold that position.
Here's your leader, Chase Elliott, on pit road. This is a unique pit road in that it's really 2 pit roads, so with a kink in between. Vince?
Well, that 9 of Chase Elliott, clean air is king, but they've also had a very good race car from the very beginning. And you see no adjustments going to be made on that 9, just 4 tires. The 17 of Chris Buescher, also very solid, looking for a little more turn, but otherwise good. Jamie?
Daniel.
Issue with the 99.
Back up.
Trouble for Chase Elliott there as they continue to work on the right-hand side as the 99. Daniel Suarez just wants to get the rear of the car working better, needs grip. We've been hearing that so often, but the car has been good, been running top 5.
It's going to be a penalty. They worked on that car outside the box. They had to get it all the way back in the box for it to be legal to do anything to that car.
And what we saw, you saw all 4 wheels back inside the box, but the nose of the car was over the line, and that's what dictates it being outside.
So Elliott just tried to take off, and they called a loose wheel and stopped him. But even that front splitter at the very nose of the car has to be behind the line to be a legal stop. But had he gone out on course and lost that wheel, that would have been a whole lot worse.
Now, we've cycled through green flag stops. Pit road is closed. Joey Logano here in the 22 car is the leader. Paul Wolfe says, we can't win this race today. We don't have a race car. I've got 2 wins. Let me get another playoff point and 10 more stage points.
And that's where everybody has to be. They got to play their own strategy off of what their circumstances are. Guys can take advantage of this. Like you said, he's not going to win the race. If he's not going to win the race, it doesn't matter. So get those stage points, salvage the rest of the day.
So NASCAR has called the penalty on the 9 for pitting outside of the box. And also a penalty on Tyler Reddick, too fast entering his pit. You must maintain that 40-mile-an-hour pit road speed, plus a 4.99 mile per hour tolerance from yellow line to yellow line. Both were in the top 4 at the time of that stop.
Now, the penalty for pitting outside the assigned pit box under green is a pass-through penalty. He has to come down pit road. He doesn't have to stop, just maintain pit road speed, back out on the racetrack.
And the good thing about that, at least the field is strung out now. We haven't had a caution this stage, so that will salvage some of that, but he's going to lose a lot of track position here.
The 8 car, Tyler Reddick, slow. He's got a penalty to serve. A fuel can penalty on Chris Buescher.
That's the top 2 before that cycle of pit stops that had a pit road issue.
Yeah, the top 3 cars
that
have had a problem.
It's been the story in 2022. Pit road has been a huge difference maker, good and bad.
Larry, pit road will be closed with 2 to go. Can they? It's the final lap now, so pit road's closed. Can't go serve that penalty with pit road closed.
But 1 stage to go. He's going to have to restart at the tail end of the longest line.
There you go. Joey Logano is our stage 2 winner in Sonoma.
There's the green checker. Good job.
From Eric Almirola and Chris Buescher, it's Logano's 2nd stage win of the season. Daniel Suarez and Kevin Harvick, the top 5. Todd Gilliland, 6th, another rookie. Harrison Burton, 7th. Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell, and Ricky Stenhouse get stage points. Joey Logano, stage winner.
Stage 2 is complete here at Sonoma Raceway. Joey Logano is your Stage 2 winner. You may have heard on the broadcast they talked with crew chief Paul Wolf, and he was communicating with his driver saying, we're not confident that we have a strong enough race car here to get the win today, so let's go ahead and rack up some stage points. Joey does already have 2 wins this season, and by that nature is locked into the playoffs, so that's where stage points are crucial because, mind you, the playoff standings re-rank based on stage points when we begin the start of the playoffs here in just about 10 races. Stage points have pretty much been the name of the game though for Joey Logano. He's earned stage points in 3 of the last 5 stages here at Sonoma Raceway. So that 22 car, again, on a bit of a different pit strategy as some of these other drivers who have their eyes on victory lane.
Will probably only be about 8 or 10 cars that come to pit road at the end of stage 2 here. Everybody else has already been in under green. Here is the issue. Here's what happened to Chase Elliott.
Go back.
Allen just needed to say, go back about 2 or 3 more times, and he'd have been back in that box.
Yeah, and they did a great job of catching him before he got too far out. Did a great job of getting him stopped, just unfortunately did not get him back the rest of the way.
Vince?
Well, Joey Logano with a playoff position already secured. They've been looking at a good points day, and they've scored the most points, and then they just got a playoff point for this stage win. So it's been a great day for the 22, and it's been a good car.
Saw Todd Gilliland there, who got 5th place stage points. Now, Buescher crossed the line in 3rd, but because he was under penalty for a fuel can issue on his stop, he does not get 3rd place stage points. That moves the 99 up, and it also includes Ryan Blaney and drivers who got stage points for stage 2.
Well, let's dial up stage 2 winner here with Joey Logano, see what he's up to. Hey, Joey, it's Tony Stewart up in the Fox booth. You got me? Hey, Joey, it's Tony Stewart in the Fox booth. You got us?
Well, let's try channel 2.
That's why they give us 2 radios in case one doesn't work. Hey, Joey Logano, it's Tony Stewart in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Congrats on that stage win, man. I know as a driver, you understand the scenario you're in on getting buried here by not pitting toward the end, but you got those important stage points. So what's your strategy the rest of the way?
Hammer down. Only one way to go from here, but I like the call Paul made. I think it makes sense to maximize our day here. From a point standpoint, you got to take a playoff point whenever you can. So We got those at the bank, which is nice. 19 stage points there, which is also good. And we're trying to get the Auto Trader Mustang back up here. It's going to be a slugfest from here, I'm sure. Intensity's going to keep picking up as you get down to the end of the race, and we're going to be in the middle of the hornet's nest.
So with this new car, we know we've heard a lot of different challenges of brakes and shifting and different shift points. What's the biggest thing that has caught you off guard so far?
I mean, some different shifting points. It's still Sonoma, Tony. Not a whole bunch is changed. All the other cars changed. The braking is probably the biggest thing. You don't really worry about wheel hop as much, so you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with not as much penalty if you screw up. Probably the biggest thing, which forces everyone to be a little more aggressive, of course.
All right, bud. Well, we know you can be aggressive when you need to, so good luck the rest of the way. See if you can get that thing up front.
Happy. I'll take it. Thanks.
Looks like Logano will be firing off from 24th on the restart. Joey Logano, Stage 2 winner.
One stage to go here at Sonoma Raceway for the NASCAR Cup Series, and as you may have heard them talking earlier on the broadcast, this racetrack has not typically been good to rookies in the past. But keep an eye on that number 2 of Austin Cindric as he's restarting this final stage in the 8th position. Austin has an extensive amount of road course experience beyond just NASCAR stock car racing. He's raced in IMSA, the Pirelli World Challenge, Red Bull Global Rallycross, and even in supercars. In fact, he became the youngest winner in the IMSA Continental Tire Series history with a 2015 victory at Canadian Tire Mosport Park. So, that 2 car of Austin Cindric, if there was ever a rookie to have a pretty good day here and shake up the rookie results at Sonoma, it's that guy.
Along with golf, auto racing is the toughest sport to put on television, and these are just some of the names of the best technical team in the business. Those that bring you NASCAR on Fox every week and do it with such professionalism. And we are so grateful for their contributions, for some of the specialty shots we give you like this. And we are told that the fuel can penalty on the 17 of Chris Buescher had been reviewed and rescinded. No penalty on Chris Buescher's team. But there is another issue. Here's Jamie.
Well, Mike, this is the first time in today's race that we've heard about tire issues. I heard all of a sudden all these different teams saying we've got some issues. So I came down to check out the 99 of Daniel Suarez. This is the left rear. It is blistered all the way around. Now, this is after 31 laps. They told him, you're not going to have to go that far again, and we have 2 sets of sticker tires laying. Vince?
With Alan Gustafson, the crew chief, the 9 to Chase Elliott. What happened on that stop, Alan?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but from the video, the nut didn't draw up. Chad got on the nut, and it just didn't draw up. The gun kind of stumbled a little bit, and then it didn't draw, and there's really no way you can check off and have a fast stop, so we dropped and had to bring them back, and unfortunately, we didn't get back in the box far enough and got a penalty. So, unfortunate, we had a good race going. Execution was well to that point, but we're digging up a big hole now, so we can get.
He will restart 34th next to last. Here they come to the Geico restart zone. Stage 3 will take us to the conclusion of this race. 110 laps in all. Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez. Still side by side. This can't last.
No, but it's important right now. I mean, if you can get that clean air like we saw earlier in stage 1 and 2, that leader has a big advantage. They want to get it right now.
Suarez comes out of 4 with the lead. McDowell to 2nd. Harvick looking on from 4th. And Buescher goes wide.
They're all missing the corner. I mean, that just shows you how important this track position is going to be. And these guys know it, so they're trying to get it early while they got fresh tires. They will have to settle in and back their pace down.
Justin Marks, the winner of this year's Burnsy Award, presented in pre-race today, watching his driver, Daniel Suarez, trying to get his first Cup Series win.
I actually did the Race Hub show this past Monday with Daniel Suarez, and he just had a confidence about himself that he really was totally looking forward to coming out here to Sonoma.
Kyle Larson made it 3 wide in turn 11. You don't see that often.
No, but again, that shows how important getting this track position early. You've got to take advantage on these restarts. There's a lot of corners that once it gets sorted out, your lap times are faster, but on the restarts, guys are getting choked up in front of you at different spots of the racetrack, and you got to find unconventional lines to get by guys.
Daniel Suarez is a lonely Camaro at the front. Look at the 6 Fords lined up right behind him.
That was Kyle Larson we just saw right there in the 5 car. He finally has made his way back to the top 10, sitting in the 10th spot right now.
The first Toyota Hamlin in 13th. Bit of lock up there. Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain together.
Ross must have 2 sets of eyes. You see him more often than not moving around the racetrack to block.
And Austin Dillon's going to get into him.
More than once, it looks like.
2 on your right. Now just a 5. You're clear.
That's Brandon McReynolds, Ross Chastain's spotter.
He has a bunch of hungry hounds behind him right now.
We're going to get 3 wide into 11 with Truex on the inside. Chase Briscoe. And it looks like Cole Custer got the worst of that on the outside.
I think a lot of folks told these drivers, hey, this is the final stage. We got to go now.
Looks like they told him it's 3 laps to go.
Well, they feel invincible now that they got new tires on.
William Byron inside Denny Hamlin there. And here, let's go back to Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain and see what transpired.
Well, Ross just blocks. the easiest way to stay ahead of a guy is run a faster lap time than him. But Ross unfortunately spends way more time looking in his mirror and moving around to put his car in front of everybody else than worrying about going fast. And he's fast enough to do it. He just has to get in the mindset that he doesn't have to spend every lap changing lines to keep somebody from getting around him. Talented driver.
Daniel Suarez out in front of Michael McDowell here by 0.4 of a second. Suarez, member of the Coca-Cola Racing family, earlier today had some fun with the Daniel's Amigos fan club here at Sonoma.
Hola amigos, we're here in Sonoma. Myself, NASCAR, Speedway Motorsport, and Coca-Cola have introduced Latino Hispanic community to the sport of NASCAR. Starting in 2019, we created the program Daniel's Amigos to welcome Latino Hispanic community to the sport of NASCAR, to have fun, lots of food, and myself.
Those amigos out there having a lot of fun watching their driver, Daniel Suarez, leading the Coca-Cola Racing family with Dillon 11th, Hamlin 17th, and Joey Logano, the Stage 2 winner, back in 22nd.
Mike, I know we have 47 laps to go, but I go back to what you were speaking about as far as the playoffs with 11 races to go and the need to win. I look at our top 6 drivers, every one of them looking for that very first win of 2022.
That's right, Larry. Win and you're in. But the 77 around, Josh Bilicki, and I think the 8 got a piece of that, Tyler Reddick, who comes straight to pit road.
And Mike, we talked about it earlier. Unfortunately, this is right out of the playbook with this 8 car in 2022.
They were running for 30th there, Jamie.
Yeah, and the 8 had just come on the radio and said the car's doing something weird, and then you saw that incident and they brought it down, and Tyler Reddick telling the team right now it broke. Something broke on the 8.
Maybe that's why he got into Josh Bilicki there. Wow. So Bilicki had to spin to miss that Tom Cruise Days of Thunder style cloud right there.
And they both got lucky that they didn't have big contact that could have taken them out of the race right there.
Well, Michael McDowell has not made any inroads on Daniel Suarez's lead because he's got a mirror full of Kevin Harvick right there in the 4.
We got a new group of characters that we haven't necessarily seen in the top 3 today. Daniel's been up there the majority of the race, but the 34 and the 4, they've been in the top 10. They've just kind of been biding their time. Here they are in the last stage. And
to Larry's point, this top 6 all needs to win to get in the playoffs. So there's a lot of motivation riding right here.
What's also interesting, you've got Daniel Suarez in that Chevy, and the next 6 drivers behind him are all blue Ford Ovals.
Vince?
You know, Michael McDowell, one of the concerns, and I think you just saw that there as Kevin Harvick completed the pass for second on McDowell, was that they had really good short run speed. But the question coming in to this race today was, what kind of race pace were they going to have? How is their long run car going to react? And certainly for Blake Harris, the crew chief on McDowell's car, they like it to fire off and they like it on the short run, but he loses a little bit the longer the run goes.
So right now he's a 1.5 seconds off the lead. Veteran road racer and veteran cup driver, Michael McDowell.
And you heard Jamie Little report a while ago, most all the teams, they have 2 sets of sticker tires laying. No matter what, we know they have to make one more pit stop. The question would be, if we get that late caution deep in the race, what do you do? I just think right now track position's king.
Let's have a look at Kevin Harvick's day so far. It's kind of like the elevation change of this racetrack.
Yeah, he's made very, very steady progress the whole day. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, talking to him yesterday after qualifying, he was disappointed in his qualifying run, but he felt very good about the balance of his race car and race trim.
You can see the gap closing on with Kevin at 99. He was about a half a second faster that last lap.
Chase Elliott back at 25th place after that issue on pit road. Now racing Kurt Busch, who has had quite an off day here.
Diving back right. 9 is right. 9 is right. 31 trying to come with him.
That's Rick Corelli, Busch's spotter.
And you saw Chase with his left hand out the window just waving to Kurt. Kurt gave him plenty of room. Knew he was faster.
Yep.
That's the old etiquette that we talked about earlier of guys working with each other.
.44 laps to go in wine country. Had a couple of spins and a few thrills so far.
Just saw some minor contact there between the 9 of Tyler Reddick and the 7 of Corey LaJoie. Both cars now a lap down. Tyler 1, Corey 2. Interestingly enough, the only 2 cars that are not on the lead lap, of course, with the exception of the 23 of Bubba Wallace, who did not finish this race after an incident early in stage 1. Again, interestingly enough, the only car that has had to take it back to the garage in a season where we've seen trouble looming, some trends here on pit road causing some issues. This race relatively has been pretty clean.
.41 laps to go. Here's the rest of our NASCAR on Fox technical crew, and our thanks for their great efforts to bring these races into your living room every week with such professionalism and great camera angles and views and coverage and replays. A lot of hard work all week long from one track to the next. Set it up and go again. And we greatly appreciate all of their efforts. Daniel Suarez right in front of Kevin Harvick. That's Suarez looking back at Harvick and Chris Buescher, both within 1 second of the lead.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Chris Buescher, he ran those top 2 down. He's faster than Suarez and faster than Harvick right now.
And he's there. Inside.
Power move.
Buescher to second. Vince?
Well, the team just came on the radio last lap and told Chris Buescher, hey, it's time to get a little bit more aggressive. We cannot lose sight of the leaders. We got to get aggressive, and we got to get aggressive now. He's listening. Jamie?
Well, you guys have mentioned Chris Buescher, how great he has been since yesterday. Well, the team owner and his teammate Brad Keselowski was off a little bit yesterday. They had qualified 22nd, but what a comeback. Keselowski running 5th right now. He has not had a top 10 since the Daytona 500. He is in desperate times to get a good finish, and so far so good here.
Yeah, great shot in the arm for Team RFK. This run by both Buescher and Keselowski with 40 to go. Both in the top 5.
Now, Mike and Tony, with 40 to go, the window has opened to make it to the end on fuel. And we're seeing tire fall off, but not that great a tire fall off. Now, if you want to split this stage in half, you go about another 15 laps. But if you're willing to roll the dice, you come here in the next few laps, and in the perfect storm, you get a caution, and you'll leapfrog all these drivers that's in front of you because they'll have to come to pit road.
What strategy won you that race here in 16?
We short pitted about 3 laps before everybody else came.
Right.
And then the caution came out. That was our only shot. I mean, we were running, I think, 22nd when Mike Bugarevich made that decision, and we got out and then got the caution we needed, and that set us up.
So you made your own luck.
My crew chief made our own luck. I just had to carry it on the rest of the way.
Good call. Before that window opens, we'll take a quick pause here with Daniel Suarez leading Chris Buescher, Kevin Harvick, Michael McDowell, and Brad Keselowski.
Race fans, less than 40 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway, and when you take a look at that running order, you might be surprised to see that 15 of Joey Hand in the top 20. Or you might not. Joey Hand knows a thing or two about road course racing. He has an extensive resume in the IMSA series, 20 IMSA class wins, including 2 wins in the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. This is his second Cup start of the season. He ran the other road course race at Circuit of the Americas, finishing 35th, so already on par for his best finish of the season in 2 races. Again, that's a 15 of Joey Hand, currently running 19th.
Daniel Suarez leading with 37 laps to go in Sonoma. Time for today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Hey, I'm going to take the obvious. I'm going to take the guy that has been in the top 5 the entire race. Chris Buescher, I think, is going to steal the show here today.
Hey, I'm not giving up on Kyle Larson. He dominated the first stage. Then he got mired back in traffic. He's working his way up. I think Kyle Larson, the 5 team, goes to victory lane for the 2nd time this season.
Yeah, Jamie, Daniel Suarez has 194 career starts, still looking for that very first win. He comes to Sonoma knowing he really needs to win to make these playoffs. I think maybe if he can pull the right strategy as far as this next pit stop, they can seal the deal.
Michael McDowell led 34 laps last week at St. Louis. That's more laps than he had led in an entire season before in his career. He's carrying that momentum here today. He's a good road course racer, and he is proving it at Sonoma, currently running 4th and looking for his 2nd career win. I like McDowell.
I like the old man. Kevin Harvick won here in 2017, the year after Tony, who made me pick one of his cars because I get to go last and pick. Every week I got to pick last. Give me Harvick. So, those are the Credit One Bank ones to watch. All right, pit window is open. There's Denny Hamlin, and teammate Kyle Busch is also in. Vince?
Well, for Denny Hamlin, it's been a chore all day long, just super loose all day. How's the 18 rolling, Jamie?
Yeah, just the same, Vince. It's been a struggle. Said how terrible it was early on. They've been off sequence. They took one set of tires here, made a small adjustment, said it just won't turn.
Again, these are two drivers, two teams. No, they did not have cars that could win this race just going straight up in their perfect world. To Tony's point a while ago, a caution comes out here in the next couple of laps. Everybody else is going to have to pit. They stay out.
Well, and another new wrinkle, Tony. Sunshine now on at least half the racetrack. First time we've seen that today.
Yeah, and as soon as this track surface heats up, we saw some tire wear at the end of stage 2. That could bring a whole new element to this game and this race that we haven't seen yet.
Pretty much the north end of the track is in pretty bright sunlight here. Martin Truex came in, made his pit stop. We still
35 to go, Frankie. 35 to go.
Still have the 6 drivers out front, all seeking their first win of the season. So I guess if it's win and you're in here in the super speedways, the road courses and the super speedways are kind of become the wild cards of NASCAR, where you don't have the usual suspects lined up at the front all the time.
And that's what's interesting, Mike. You think about these 11 races left in the regular season, 4 road courses including today, and we know where the regular season finale at Daytona.
I'll be honest, I'm nervous right now because it's a matter of when does that crew chief pull the pin and call his driver in right now. We know fresh tires have speed. We know that's going to gain you the gap, but you know the more laps you put on them and you have at the end of the race, that's less tire you got left.
So Bubba Wallace out of the race early at lap 10, engine trouble, and Tyler Reddick has taken his car to the garage. Vince?
Yeah, Matt Dash trying to get this repaired, but here's the problem with the 8 for Tyler Reddick. The screws backed out of the rotor. You can see here where the screws had and actually broken off in this particular hole here. So that's the issue. Try to get that rotor changed, but obviously a very long fix for the 8 and Tyler Reddick.
And it's been a while since we've heard that happening. It happened a lot in the early going of this next-gen car. We're starting to see more and more pit stops happen here. Here you see the 9 car on pit road.
Chase Elliott making his stop. Daniel Suarez out front has now led more laps in 2022 than in any previous season of his NASCAR Cup career.
Mike, you kind of pointed it out. I do find it interesting in all 4 of the Joe Gibbs Toyota drivers, when that window opened, all of them, they now have made what probably may be their final pit stop.
And they really have nothing to lose. I mean, that's a very calculated and smart decision. I mean, they don't have anything to lose. They don't have the pace. They don't have the speed. By short pitting, they're going to get the advantage of the new tires and the lap time initially until this lead group starts to pit.
All good.
Up the hill to turn 2 for Austin Cindric, and Ross Chastain trying to have a look here and floats the nose across the corner.
Both of them standing on the gas leaving. And what would it be with the one car if we didn't touch somebody, at least in this transaction? Just a nudge just to say hi. But that's the great thing about these bodies. You can do that. It doesn't hurt the shape of it. It pops out, Larry, to where you don't lose any aero because of it. Doesn't take any performance away from the car.
Saw it from day one, Tony. You did the Busch Clash out there at the LA Coliseum, just how durable this car is, especially when it comes to that body.
And something you see there off of turn 11, you see him holding a lower line on the exit. This track has got a very worn out surface, so the natural line is to let the car go out wide on the exit. The stones in the asphalt lower off the corner have more grip. So as the tires get wear on them, you actually can help yourself by tightening the exit of the corner, which you don't think is going to help you speed-wise, but you do get better acceleration.
32 laps to go here in Sonoma. Each week, catch all the WWE action, starting with Raw on USA Network, Mondays at 8 Eastern. Then Friday night, SmackDown on Fox at 8 Eastern. Sports Entertainment's biggest shows on USA Network and Fox. The Bella Twins were here for pre-race, and Grand Marshals gave the command to get things started here.
With bigger muscles than we have.
That's not saying a lot for me, Tony.
Well, that would be natural if we said they had more hair than you.
How about Daniel Suarez? 18 laps in the lead today. He's been working hard trying to get that first win, which I guess has to be just a little tougher when your teammate has won 2 this year.
But Daniel's done a great job today. The end of the second stage, we saw him getting a little bit loose. He's done a great job this stint of taking care of his tires so far. Hasn't hardly put a wheel wrong.
There's that curve at pit road at turn 12, and the second set of pits where stands Jamie Little.
And Ryan Blaney in the 12 said he just cannot pass out there. Wanted an adjustment to help the grip on this car. It's interesting with the sun out now, how the cars are changing. The handling is changing a little bit. They came to get those fresh tires for Blaney. He pitted from the 6th spot.
Now here is Alex Bowman trying to catch Ross Chastain. This is for 7th place. Alex with that bright color scheme. It's Pride Month, and Ally choosing to run an LGBTQ plus paint scheme in honor of Pride Month on Bowman's car. He's been knocking around the top 10 most of the day.
Got relatively smooth hands there as he goes through turn 10. Ooh, little chatter.
And an opportunity.
And as soon as he saw that door open, did you hear him grab a handful of throttle?
He's there.
Yeah.
All clear behind him, but he doesn't need it.
Ross did a great job there. Ross knows that Alex is faster. That was a great deal by Ross Chastain there to not push that issue.
We're seeing more and more drivers hit pit road. Austin Cindric in that 2 car, he just hit pit road. If I'm up there, the 99 of Suarez, Busch of the 17, Harvick the 4, I want to be the first to come to pit road. I don't want to have to hold my breath if one of those others pit and get burnt by a caution.
Kevin Harvick almost got Chris Buescher for 2nd place here. You know, we've not had, other than the stage breaks, we've not had a caution flag since Bubba Wallace back on lap 10. It has been a very clean road race here.
I have a feeling that will change a little bit here toward the end of this thing. The closer to the end of this gets, the dirtier it's going to get.
So here's 2nd and 3rd place on pit road. Vince?
Well, the interesting thing is they are pitted in the boxes adjacent to one another, so they can keep a close eye on what the other is doing. And right now, both of them, like their race cars, just need a little bit more stability and a little more drive off. Otherwise, pretty solid. This is just a race of the pit crews. Which one's going to get out first? It's the 17.
Oh, and a problem for Rodney Childers' crew. They have to jack it back up. That was
probably
costly.
the final pit stop, which would be the money stop.
Or the lack of money stop in this scenario.
That's about a 9-second difference in leaving pit road. Here comes Buescher back up to speed, and Harvick just hit the yellow line now and begins to accelerate.
That hurts.
And that's the car owner talking, Tony Stewart. And Ross Chastain with an issue on his stop. Let's take a look here. Left rear, we've seen several issues, and whether it's the hub, the screws, the rotor, but we've seen several issues of right rears not being tightened up here. Vince?
Just foreign gas for Michael McDowell. Crew Chief Blake Harris told me earlier, if we give him a good enough car, he's talented enough to keep it in the front. He's doing that today, Jamie.
Daniel Suarez has led 21 laps today. Never led a lap before this race. A good stop. The boys got it done. Just 4 tires for the 99.
That was a fast stop.
Michael McDowell going out. Kyle Larson coming into his stall. Jamie.
And Kyle Larson in his box as well. Just been grinding, trying to make his way back, but he's kind of been mired there in that 10th to 8th spot. Can't really go anywhere. They work on the left side of Kyle Larson's car. He's down now and away.
So Brad Keselowski, who last led in the Cup Series 3 laps at Las Vegas, the 3rd race of the season, Keselowski is in the lead.
Watch Brad Keselowski do this driving for Team Penske several years ago, back in 2017. He ran it absolutely as far as he could, and now we've lost a tire and a wheel.
Oh, no. Pole sitter Kyle Larson.
Caution's out here. Caution's out.
So there's the second caution flag for cause of the day. Right front on Kyle Larson. From our drone camera above turn 1 and up to 2.
Oh, wow. Soon as he fed the wheel to the right, exit stage right.
Now, Larry, this will result in one of NASCAR's costliest penalties to this team.
Yeah, it'll be a 4-week suspension for crew chief Cliff Daniels and the jackman and the tire changer. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is the 10th one of 2022.
So we've had some left rear issues, now a right front with Larson. What is the issue with getting this wheel seated properly on the hub and getting the signal lug nut tight?
Yeah, you've got the drive pins and you've got the drive pin holes, and you have to line those up. And if it doesn't seat completely, the lug nut will mainly tighten, but it won't be tight. But now I will say this, we also have had several issues where the jackman's key to go is when he sees the tire changers come back. We've had a couple, like Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, where the tire changer thought the lug nut went on. The lug nut had come out of the socket. It was not even installed, and Denny left and the tire fell off. So we've had a couple of things happen with this single lug.
So Larson makes his way back to pit road. The car pretty much running on the rub blocks there on the right front, and remains in the race and on the lead lap. Penalties will come post-race.
You know, I've said it, Cliff Daniels, I got so much respect for him. He tried to duplicate what he did a year ago and win that first stage, and it just was not in the cards, and it's kind of went downhill from there.
roof over, take a look at it really quick. Make sure all the nuts are run up good. Make sure.
I believe Josh Bilicki will get the free pass on this overall. The fourth caution of the day for Kyle Larson, losing a right front wheel.
Only the second caution of the day due to on-track activity that we've seen here at Sonoma, and that one was a bit of interesting timing given the way that green flag pit stops were going underway. And it's looking like that 99 of Daniel Suarez is going to cycle back to the lead. Now Daniel, still looking for his first win this season, is in a good position here as Stage 3 is well underway. And interestingly enough, he has never finished inside the top 10 in 4 runs here at Sonoma, but he's also never finished worse than 17th. So the 99 looking like they're going to be leading the field here on this restart as we finish this race here in Stage 3.
Love seeing all the families at this race, and especially the kids wearing hearing protection. It's a little noisy here. That's all part of the fun. Pit road is open with 26 laps to go, and at least the first 5 cars had not yet been on pit road in this stage, Vince.
Joey Logano with the alternate strategy today scored the most points, but he's been off sequence, and what's that going to do for his chances to win? He likes his car. They're having a problem on the left rear. Finally got it snugged up, Jamie.
And the 6 of Brad Keselowski, we just talked about what a day he has been having, one that has been long overdue. 4 tire stop here just to help the grip is his biggest complaint.
Larry, I think more left rear issues this week than we've seen in any single race this season.
Yeah, and again, it could be a plethora of things. You know, we have not truly isolated it to one thing, but definitely the left rear seems to be the common denominator.
There are those drive pin holes in the wheel, 18 of them. 6 pins line up with a group of those holes. .25 laps to go. Daniel Suarez cycling back to the lead. Well, after we're done here in Sonoma, NASCAR takes a week off. Everybody goes on vacation as we hand off coverage to NBC Sports.
Thanks, Mike. It's been awesome watching you guys in the booth this season, bringing all the great action to us week after week. I'm excited to get back in the booth myself as NASCAR returns to NBC. Just 2 short weeks away, we'll be live from Nashville Superspeedway. I'm hoping everybody's going to tune in to NBC on Sunday, June 26th 5 p.m. Eastern, as the race to the playoff continues. Now, let's get back to the action here in Sonoma.
Thanks, Junior. We'll look forward to that. And today's big announcement is that the Busch Light Clash will return to the historic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum February 5th on Fox. Tickets for this season opening event go on sale in early August. Visit NASCARclash.com or use that QR code on your screen to register for an exclusive pre-sale offer later this summer for the Busch Light Clash. 25 laps to go. Daniel Suarez out front. We're going to take you Fox side by side. It'll be 23 laps to go when they come back. The first 4 drivers all trying to win their first race of the year, and in one case career. That's Suarez, your leader. Then Buescher, Blaney, and McDowell. Kyle Busch leads the Gibbs cars, which all short pitted, and they are now in 5th, 9th, 11th, and 16th.
And getting advantage of those fresh tires in that short amount of time, that definitely paid dividends, especially for Kyle Busch.
You listened in on Daniel Suarez's team.
Let's stay with the game here. Hope you're working. Stay with the game. Yes, sir. We're here for you. You got this, man. They're trying to pump up that 17. You're better than he is.
Let's find out. Suarez on the outside, Buescher on the inside of the track. Only the leader gets lane choice on road courses. Here they come to the restart flag. It'll be 23 to go. McDowell going for second.
It's a great jump by Daniel Suarez.
He's got to love seeing that in his mirror.
Absolutely.
All right, Buescher prevails as they sorted out single file. Kyle Busch with a move to the inside on Harvick. Not going to get there as he battles Bowman, and they trade a little paint. 3 wide coming to turn 7.
Oh, Kyle Busch locks up the rear tires, spins.
Bowman with him. We stay green. Boy, this is a place you're going to get your feelings and your fenders hurt.
Yeah, it's feast or famine here, unfortunately. I mean, when you have a good day, it's a great day here, but when you have an off day, you normally leave here pretty upset about it.
It's sorted out now, but let's go back up to turn 7. Kyle Busch inside of Bowman, and it's going to be 3 wide coming to the corner with Briscoe, but Kyle Busch is around as Briscoe goes to the inside and Bowman ends up outside.
And I think it's a perfect example of what those new tires versus old tires, you know, Rowdy's going to sit there and get everything he can get out of it. He had more brake and more talent than what his tires had at that point. Everybody else is on fresher tires.
And Alex Bowman does a little agricultural racing to get back on course.
Yeah, he's all the way back to the 28th spot right now in that 48 car.
And Kyle Busch is back in 32nd, 29 laps off the lead after this.
And that was self-preservation. He drove it outside of the groove even further to make sure he didn't have contact with the 18. Alex has been doing a lot of dirt sprint car racing, so him going off course, he's one of the guys I'd put my money on if he's got to go off.
Daniel Suarez had a bit of wheel spin in turn 11, and that brought Buescher right back to him through turn 1, up the hill to 2.
Larry, I think with 21 to go here, I don't think you're going to see these guys holding anything back. I think they're going to use everything they got every lap.
Yeah, there's no holding back now whatsoever.
One thing Harvick's using is that bumper. He just got into Cindric at the top of the hill. This is for 5th place. 3A, now down the hill to 4.
Well, and Kevin's trying to recover from the issues they had on that last trip to pit road with that pit stop.
There's your Xfinity fastest last lap, Chris Buescher. Quicker than Harvick, Suarez in 3rd, then Briscoe and McDowell. Briscoe currently 7th, McDowell in 3rd. Vince, how about Chris Buescher?
Well, what a great run it is for Buescher. And, you know, it's interesting, even though this racetrack is nothing like Watkins Glen, Buescher told me this morning that they did a tire test at Watkins Glen a few weeks back, and he said, we learned something about road course racing and our package that we made a change for this week, and it really worked. It brought our car to life. So it's interesting, with this new car, it's a constant learning process, even if you're at a racetrack that is nothing like the one you're actually racing at.
Right. I don't know, Tony. One more lockup in turn 11 for Suarez, and Buescher may have the lead here.
Yeah, I mean, if he continues to do that, eventually it is definitely going to take its toll on that right front.
Austin Cindric having a very strong day for the rookie in 5th place, Jamie.
It really is, Mike, and anytime Austin Cindric goes to a road course, you always count him in, but it was not easy starting yesterday in practice and qualifying, just disconnected, especially on the right-handers. He started this race 25th. They have just been working on it. Baby steps was their words, and now he's running top 5. Hasn't finished in the top 5 since he won the Daytona 500.
You know, Mike, Sonoma can be tough on rookies. A rookie has not finished better than 15th in the last 11 races here.
Wow.
It's a tough track. It's like we've talked about over and over. This is a track that is a rhythm track. You have to get in a rhythm, and you can run as many laps as you want on a sim, but nothing is going to beat getting actual track time here to get that rhythm.
Tell you what, Tony, if Daniel Suarez so much as slips a front tire or a rear tire, Chris Buescher is there ready to pounce in that 17.
I don't know, Larry. Suarez is driving the race of his career. Other than that occasional lockup in 11, he's hardly put a wheel wrong.
And if I'm Chris Buescher, I'm trying to watch right now, and I'm trying to figure out where is Daniel strong and where is he weak. But your best corners and your best opportunity in braking zones are turn 4, turn 7, and turn 11. So to be good there, you have to be good at 3A, you have to be good at turn 8, and be good at turn 10 to get that run on that driver to get in the braking zone where you're close enough to do something.
He's close.
Last run, about lap 14, we started pulling away from the 17. He was a little better the short run.
That's Daniel's radio. Buescher within a car length as they come to 11. Last time we saw Buescher, he was on his roof. Took 8 minutes to get that car righted, get him out of there. He was uninjured in that crash, but then lost a week due to the COVID protocol. 5th place, Harvick on the outside at turn 1. If he can stay there, he's in a good spot for turn 2. He's there. Makes the pass.
These cars, I don't remember ever being at Sonoma and us seeing two wide racing through turns 1 up to turn 2 like we are in different sections of the track where it never worked. The guy on the inside always prevailed, but I've seen more side-by-side racing through corners and guys being able to hold on, and I think it's a testament to this new car. This new car has been perfect for the road course races.
And we have 6 of them this season. 18 laps to go. Daniel Suarez with a thin margin over Chris Buescher as one more time we take you, Fox, side by side.
Laps are ticking down here in stage 3 at Sonoma Raceway, and that 16 of A.J. Allmendinger just broke into the top 10. Surprisingly, too, we heard him complaining earlier on in the race about not having any power steering. Or maybe not surprising, considering A.J. Allmendinger's road course resume. He has 2 wins in the Cup Series throughout his career, both of them on road courses. Watkins Glen back in 2014, and then just last year for the first time on the Indy road course. A series regular in the Xfinity Series as far as 2022 goes. 2 wins there as well this season. Again, both on road courses, Circuit of the America, and just last weekend at Sonoma. That 16 car in the top 10 right now as stage 3 is quickly winding down.
Over the last lap and a half, Daniel Suarez has increased his lead from a car length to about 6 car lengths, which on track is about 3/4 of a second. Michael McDowell, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, there are the lap leaders today, led by Suarez. Chase Elliott currently in 8th place. Kyle Larson in 18th, who lost a wheel. Joey Logano back in 26th, and Chris Buescher, of course, in 2nd. Just a few car lengths off the lead. William Byron pressuring Elliott there. There are your leaders. Heading for turn 11, which has been a little bit of a trouble spot for Suarez. Buescher gains on him every lap there. Now, right at the end of the top 10, A.J. Allmendinger, who earlier reported no power steering, but Vince, he is hanging in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it has been a battle. They put some power steering fluid in there, but he said it didn't really help much. He has just dealt with it. And, you know, he is a guy that was under the weather all week long coming into the race. That makes it even more difficult. A.J. small in stature, small framed guy, but he has muscled up and delivered here today.
Well, he shares that ride with Daniel Hemrick and Noah Gregson. The car runs the full schedule, got his first top 10 of the season at St. Louis last week.
And we're watching him in the car. I'm watching the tops of his shoulders. If his arms are starting to get tired, you're going to see him pick up his outside shoulder of whatever direction he's turning into. He looks like he's fairly comfortable. I mean, he is doing an outstanding job to not have power steering right now. Looks really comfortable. The other guy that looks pretty comfortable is leading this race too.
You know what, Mike? You talked about not holding anything back. He has about 9 laps on those tires. Daniel Suarez turned his fastest lap of the race 2 laps ago.
He builds up a lead, Tony, of about 6 car lengths coming all the way to turn 10 and then loses most all of it entering 11.
But look at what he gains back on the exit. He pulls it all back out. So it's somewhat deceiving. I mean, you're going to have, with such a big long braking zone where the speed goes from so high to so low and then back the opposite direction when they leave the corner.
And you drop over 100 miles an hour between 10 and 11. And maybe it's just a case of Suarez not wanting to abuse his brakes or his tires getting in there, especially if he knows he can come off that corner and retain the lead.
And he's got enough of a gap now that it needs to be all out in front of him. If I'm his spotter, I'm telling him, you're not being pressured from behind. It's all in front of you, and let him run his lap. If for some reason his pace is slower than Buescher's is, then the spotter's got to call and say, hey, we're going to have to pick it up a little bit. But the best thing that Daniel Suarez can do right now is strictly focus on his car and his pace, running his lap the way he wants to run it right now.
A big gap, about 8 car lengths going into turn 10. Buescher closes 1, and then under braking, closes about 3 more.
But here's this forward bite, squeeze and pull away again.
So how maddening must that be if you're Chris Buescher right now? You can get that close.
Well, it's a false sense of security, unfortunately. You get there, you get in the corner, you're like, all right, I just made up a bunch of ground. And then as soon as he leaves the corner, you're like, I lost it all back.
Vince?
Well, Tony noted that Suarez is pulling away from Chris Buescher off the corners, and that's been the issue for Buescher all day long, saying when the tires start to wear, it's really tough to keep the forward drive in it. That's what they've been trying to work on all day long, but Buescher just needs a little better drive, he says, if he's going to catch Suarez.
And Tony, that drive like off of turn 11, that speed goes all the way up the front stretch, up the hill, all the way to turn 2.
But if he's struggling with it right now, it's not going to get better most likely. So if you're Daniel, you just got to run your pace. If you're Chris, you got to take care of it. As much as you want to try to push to close that gap, maybe in these next 10 or 12 laps, maybe Daniel's car starts giving up the forward drive. So you can't push too hard and make your problem worse. You got to sit there and run at the capability of what the tires will give you right now.
13 to go in Sonoma. I want to thank our entire Fox NASCAR production team, beginning with producer Barry Landis, director Artie Kempner, pit producer Pam Miller, with Darren Foster, Eric Mandia, Andy Jeffers up here in the booth, Racing Insights with all our stats, and everyone who helps us present this race to you on a weekly basis. It's our job, but it's a labor of love for all concerned, and we appreciate all of their efforts.
And Tony, I know the weather has changed. We talked about the sun coming up, but if this stays green, the length of this run is going to be equal to that run that we did in stage 2, where we went caution free.
If you remember, Daniel Suarez had blistering problems on the rear tires, so it's going to be important to sit there and you aren't going to manage right now, but you have the ability, if you push too hard, to make a problem that doesn't need to be there right now.
Well, let's get an update from the leaders pit. Here's Jamie.
Tell you, this is the most quiet I've ever heard the 99 radio, Mike. He has not said much at all. He is focused and driving the race of his career. And you just saw his stats. He's been in the Cup Series for 6 years. He won the Xfinity Series championship, moved up to Cup. He's bounced around to multiple teams, never finding a spot, never landing standing in victory lane. One thing he has done this year, he has found a home with Trackhouse Racing. And today, perhaps, he'll finally break that winless streak and go to victory lane for the first time.
And there is that grandstand full of Daniel's amigos that he told you about earlier in the telecast.
They do not miss a lap that he goes up that hill.
Well, and you're not going to meet a nicer guy. We had the honor of having Daniel drive our car at Stewart-Haas Racing, and just a great kid. Glad he got to another home that he's happy in right now, and nobody deserves it better than him or Chris Buescher at this point. Both of these guys equally deserve this win.
His enthusiasm is really infectious. He must love it up here in Sonoma, because there are more unrestored Volkswagen bugs here in Sonoma County than I think anywhere else in America. So just driving around looking for restoration candidates probably puts a smile on his face. Glendale, Arizona's Michael McDowell, veteran road racer, and had a lot of success at one point. Might have been on the road to Indy, but found a home in NASCAR and in the Cup Series, and a Daytona 500 winner. Driver with a lot of road course skill, and currently in third place, 6 back. Well, make that, here's 5th place. Teammates Cindric and Blaney.
I will say something about the 3 Team Penske drivers. When it comes to racing other drivers, they do not discriminate. It does not matter if it's a teammate or not.
Well, let's show you that pass again from above.
And that's something that Austin Cindric has a great road course background and is really, really good under braking. We saw it at the LA Coliseum. We've seen it at every road course race. He knows how to get that car stopped and knows how to maximize the braking ability.
All right, Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin, Larry, have come to pit road.
Yeah, and because they pitted basically on lap 74, lap 75, so that was like 25 or 26 laps to go. So this is a desperation pit stop right here.
Well, 3 of the 4 Joe Gibbs cars are in positions 29 through 32 right now, leaving Truex as the leading Toyota in 13th place. And finally, I want to thank the 20 guest analysts that have been in the booth for NASCAR on Fox this year, joining Clint Boyer and myself. Tony with the most appearances of all. Fitting that you should start the season for us and end it here at Sonoma. Of course, Clint was scheduled to be with us this weekend. He is tending to a personal matter. Larry McReynolds kind enough to step in, but it has just been so great to share all the different points of view and experience of all the folks that have been kind enough to come by and spend time with us.
Well, your entire staff is so easy to work with. You guys do a great job. Barry, Pam, Artie, all of you guys in the booth, everybody, it's running cameras, electrical, everything. Do such a fantastic job, and it's been an honor to do this with you guys. We love this sport, and to be able to cover it with you guys and bring it to the fans is something I've absolutely had a blast doing that with you guys this year.
Well, thank you. We've certainly enjoyed having you and all of the guests that have joined us.
And Mike, I've enjoyed the opportunity to come back and do some booth work with you. You and I stood in this same booth 21 years ago to end our first year of NASCAR on Fox in 2001.
Time flies, Larry. It's still so much fun. And so many new storylines, like this group right here. These 4 drivers at the front of this field. If any one of them could score the checkered flag, it'd be their first win of the season and most likely punch their ticket into the Cup Series playoffs. Daniel Suarez leading more laps here than probably in his whole career. 39 so far. Jamie out front with 8 to go.
Yes, he is out front. You know what? He has a lucky charm today. An honorary friend of Team Trackhouse. Little Kinsley, 6 years old. She's battling ATRT. It's a brain and spinal cord cancer. She's having surgery this week, but in the meantime, she is here with her entire family. They got to meet this morning. They were on our pre-race show. Look at Kinsley's smile. So excited to be here rooting for Daniel Suarez and perhaps even going to victory lane here in just a matter of laps.
A great story. But to do that, Daniel Suarez is going to have to run 7 more time trial laps here to stay out in front of Chris Buescher.
Well, I think Chris has to run the time trial laps. Daniel has to just run 7 smooth laps like he's been running this entire stint. If he can do that, he's in a good spot right now.
And they mirrored each other's lap that time, but the 2 laps prior to that, Daniel was maybe about 2.5 tenths quicker than Chris Buescher.
And Michael McDowell and Kevin Harvick are 0.3 of a second faster than both of them, but still kind of far back here.
Yeah, and we're listening to, watching Daniel, and Jamie mentioned that they haven't been talking a lot on the radio to him. This is one of those scenarios where you just want to let the driver drive. I mean, there's nothing that he's doing that he needs any more information than what he's already doing at this point. So just letting him stay focused, letting him stay locked in. Don't say anything to him that distracts him in any way. He's doing his work right now.
Ask you some help, Frankie. Please. Everything you can get from help.
Travis Mack to Frank Kimmel, the second, the spotter. Right. Talking about that lap car ahead. You've got the job. We hired you because you know what to do. Go out there and do it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and he's doing a great job right now. There's nothing that the crew chief, there's nothing that the spotter's going to do that is going to help him at this point. With lap traffic coming up, that spotter is wandering around trying to find those cars in front of him and trying to get help from their spotters to say, hey, we need a break right here. We're leading this thing. Can you give us a little room when we get there?
Rough day for Martin Truex. His position now matches his car number as Eric Almirola and Alex Bowman just went by. Truex, just like his teammates, coming back to pit road.
And the only way this play works for them is if we run far enough now. If we get a caution, it's maybe going to force a lot of the other cars on the lead lap to come to pit road to get 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, again, they had nothing to lose before. That's why they short pitted in the first place. And this does. I mean, we've run long enough in the race right now that with 5 to go, 6 or 5 to go, if you get a caution right now, you're probably going to force these guys to have to make a pit stop. But I don't know if the way pit road has been today, I don't know if I want to have to take that chance.
Tony, if I'm running up in the top 5 or 6, a lot like St. Louis, my pit stuff's already over at the hauler, already loaded up.
There are the amigos. Just outside turn number 1. As Suarez looks and climbs the hill. They are there.
5 to go. You put 3 tenths on him there.
A sea of red. And that's good info. Chris Buescher now 2.3 back.
I think Chris threw all he could at it, but his car is just not there. It's just not as good as that 99 car this deep into the run.
I agree. You wonder if he could have got by him, what the circumstances would have been. Would the end result be the same? Would his car have fallen off at this point in the run, or would that clean air have mattered? But Daniel did such a good job, and especially at the end of the second stage. I thought he was going to be in really big trouble, and in this stage he's done such a good job of taking care of it. Every time we see him, he's not slipping a wheel. He's on entry, he's solid. On exit, he is not letting those tires get away from him.
So good things that have happened to Daniel Suarez this weekend. Kinsley Wilkerson, Jamie told that story. Kinsley riding on Daniel's car. Daniel's amigos here. They had a big party in pre-race, and they're on the hillside. His girlfriend, Julia Piquet, has been looking for a particular car for her daily driver. Been trying to help Daniel to find a Porsche 912 one that was made early within 3 specific model years. They found one this weekend.
Jeez.
So, and Justin Marks' car owner got the Bernsey Award this weekend. I guess that only leaves one thing, and it's 3.5 laps away.
Seal the deal.
Not a long list of foreign-born drivers to win in the Cup Series. Mario Andretti won the Daytona 500, won Pablo Montoya. Earl Ross from Canada won at Martinsville, and Marcus Ambrose from Australia on the road course.
And that win by Juan Pablo Montoya right here at Sonoma 2007, the only Rookie of the Year candidate to win a race here at Sonoma.
You know, this Trackhouse team, of course, the team itself is only a couple of years old. There's car owner Justin Marks. And all these drivers in 2016 were racing against each other in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, what Justin has done putting this program together is remarkable.
And I say all of them, including Justin, who raced some for Chip Ganassi and ended up buying Chip Ganassi's NASCAR operation. So far, so good.
For that lap, I think he's banking time to the 34. You'll have one more lap car, the 78.
That'll be Scott Heckert ahead, who is 1 lap and distance down to the leader. The last car on the lead lap, who thought we'd be saying Denny Hamlin's name in that context today.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he should not catch Denny Hamlin because Denny Hamlin has very fresh tires right now. So other than that, he's got a pretty clean racetrack in front of him.
Meanwhile, at 7th place, Chase Elliott trying to hold off Ross Chastain. Here he comes, and they're on their feet again in turn 1.
I don't know if that group can make it many more laps. They start jumping higher and higher every time he goes by.
2 to go. This is a home track for Justin Marks. Daniel's team owner, grew up here in the Bay Area.
And Mike, Tony will know this. I speak from experience of being able to win at this race. Yeah, you've got to make that final lap, all 11 turns. But the flag you want to see is that white flag, because you know when you see it, the next flag ends the race.
That's right. And with the gap he's got, it's lift early, be easy on the throttle, do everything you can to not make any kind of a mistake. He just has to keep doing what he's doing right now, and he can back his pace off, make smooth, consistent laps right now, and he's going to be in good shape.
Oh, no! Allmendinger. Oh, here he's coming back on. That's turn 3, I believe.
But that's why he wants to see that white flag, stuff just like that.
That's exactly why.
AJ down to turn 3.
Well, we got off.
Yeah.
Got the right sides off in the dirt.
But he got restarted, and there's the white flag. Sponsored by Credit One Bank, waving over Daniel Suarez.
All right, white flag. About a 5-second lead. You had one come back on here at the top of 3A. Take your time through here. You got no pressure.
That's very good information.
I wonder if that steering just locked up on Allmendinger. Something had to happen there.
I think he just got the right sides off in the dirt here.
Okay.
But the good thing is Daniel's through that section, doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Just has to make another good, solid half lap here and get this win under his belt.
He's got almost a 5-second lead over Chris Buescher, and that's 17 right now.
So team owner Justin Marks, as we mentioned, Bay Area native. His dad, Michael Marks, up there on the pit box with him, awaiting what would be the crowning of NASCAR's newest Cup race winner. through turn 10 for the final time. Headed for the hairpin and home. Well, the Fox season opened with Pitbull doing a concert at the racetrack in the Coliseum. He's a partner in Team Trackhouse. And through turn 12, Daniel Suarez is a NASCAR Cup winner. You gotta love it when nice guys finish first.
Absolutely. You aren't going to find a better guy that's always smiling no matter what's going on. He's always smiling. He's always looking at the positive, and definitely that effort paid off today.
Might go pick her up, give her a victory lap, man.
The 30-year-old from Monterrey, Mexico, gets his first Cup Series win in his 195th start and becomes the 5th driver not born in the United States to win in the Cup Series. He is the 4th driver to get his first career win this season. And Ross Chastain cheering him on. A victory bump from Chase Elliott.
I don't think there's a driver in this series that does not like Daniel Suarez.
Exactly. This is a feel-good story for this whole series.
To me, it's a big win in motorsports, but it's a huge sports story at the end of the day.
Chris Buescher is second by 4.9 seconds. Michael McDowell third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Rookie Austin Cindric fifth. Ryan Blaney sixth. Chastain seventh. Chase Elliott eighth. William Byron, Brad Keselowski round out the top 10.
It's fun watching him. Everybody in the field is slowing down to congratulate him on the end lap right now. That's what he's looking to the right. All of his fellow competitors congratulating him.
Everybody with a slow down and a wave. There's Kurt Busch. What a weekend for Team Trackhouse. What a season. Vince.
Justin Marks, team owner. Wow. Yeah. Can you put this into words, this win?
This one's difficult to put into words. Daniel Suarez, Travis Mack helped build Trackhouse, and they've been working so hard together. They've been so focused, so dedicated to try to get into victory lane. The one car winning 2 races this year was tough on them, but they never gave up. They knew that they deserved to be in victory lane. I'm so proud of them and happy for them.
Congratulations.
The whole crew is up on the wall in front of Daniel. And that 99, he's going to burn it down.
We were just told that the item in front of the splitter of the car was a taco. That's awesome.
Looks like Justin Marks going to climb right in the car.
Well, he owns it. He should.
Well, Daniel's longtime girlfriend, Julia Piquet, her brother drove in NASCAR. Her dad drove in Formula One. I mean, great racing family. The young man from Monterrey, Mexico, started his racing there, came to the United States with dreams of NASCAR, and now that dream is realized.
This will be a victory lane celebration we will not forget for quite some time.
It will probably last for quite some time.
Rightfully so.
In Kansas, he was on his way to dinner with us, and it's a piñata. That's what it is. We talked at dinner about what did he want to do, what kind of celebration did he want to have when he first won, and he says, you know, how about a piñata? There it was.
I like that better than the watermelon. Well, at least we can pick it up and eat the stuff that came out of the piñata.
That's right. There it is, Jamie Little.
This has already been quite the celebration. And Daniel Suarez, since you won your Xfinity Series championship, it has been a long road here in the Cup Series, different teams, a lot of heartbreak. How do you put into words the race you had today in this moment standing right here?
It's crazy, Jamie. I have so many thoughts in my head right now. I mean, it's been a rough though. It's been a rough journey in the Cup Series, and these guys believe in me. Trackhouse Racing, Justin Marks, Ty Norris, everyone that helped me to get to this point. You know, a lot of people in Mexico, Jim Morales, Carlos Slim, my family. You know, they never give up on me. A lot of people did, but they didn't. So just very happy that we were able to make it work.
I mentioned different teams, Trackhouse. It just seemed like magic from the moment you guys started together. What has been different about this team for you?
The energy. They believe in me since day one. You know, they believe in me, and they put all the people, resources, everything to make it happen. Look at all. We have Daniel's amigos over there. Yeah.
Daniel, talk to those amigos over there and all the amigos watching at home on their couch. Tell them in Spanish what you're feeling right now.
I'm sorry for what I just said, but gracias, muchas gracias por todo su apoyo. Siempre creyeron en mí desde el inicio y esta es la primera de muchas. This is the first one of many.
Daniel Suarez wins his first career race at Sonoma.
Daniel Suarez, Travis Mack, and his whole crew have a celebration that could last a couple of days here. You know, there's an open test day on Wednesday at the track. I hope they're done by then. Lots more to come from Sonoma as we break it down. Daniel Suarez, big win on the road course here.